Hello,
Hello, everybody.
everybody. Welcome to the show. And we do have a guest today. We got
Yes, we have a
Lou.
we have a guest
He's in
coming
the
in.
back. We're going to open up and let him in. Let's see. We
I
just
don't
got
know.
to.
Should we let Lou in? Should we let Lou in? We
Okay.
can hear Lou, but we can't see Lou. We
Okay,
gotta
hold on.
fix
We
that.
got to do this one, I guess.
No,
Okay.
this one.
That's where it
You're the
was.
one. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
there
There
you
it
go.
is.
Oh, now
I
he's all
promise no
little.
profanity other than darn. I'll keep it clean. I know this is a children's channel, so I'll keep
Oh,
it
is it?
clean.
There's
Wait,
little
let me
kid.
kill that light. Yeah, let me kill that light. Things drive me crazy. Sorry.
And of course, for those of you who are not aware, that is Lou from Mego My Mego which you can find on YouTube and on Facebook.
Yes.
Although he primarily operates out of Facebook. And when's the last time you did one of
Oh,
those
yeah, okay.
group chats?
At least 6 months ago,
I was
because
It's been
wondering
a long
yeah,
time.
we need to do it because
because I
keep
figured
talking
Lou
about
just
getting stuff done. Yeah.
I thought Lou didn't want to talk to me anymore. He was like,
No, 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 no. No, actually, when I do the group chats, I have to bring everybody else in, so there's some interest in it, not just me rambling about my daily
yeah,
routine. So, no, we definitely need to do that. We keep talking about doing stuff like that. The problem is that life schedules. That's probably
sure.
the
Yeah,
problem. I think.
yeah.
And Alpha Trion enjoyed the live stream this morning, and
Yeah, that
And
was a
we
good
have
one. I didn't see what you
Lee.
got, but
yeah, well, I got a haul video that'll be coming up, and it's insane because at that show in particular, because and I've discussed it before, it's not there are vendors there, but it's not primarily a vendor show. It's
okay,
usually just, a lot of it is collectors who want to move extra stuff
Yeah,
get rid
because
of their
that show is very cheap. And they don't want to spend $500 to go to a convention and get a table. Here's your 6 foot slot. Good luck.
yeah.
But there, they get 2 parking spaces for $20.
Oh wow! So
And
that's
so,
Yeah.
easy. You sell one thing and you're good. That's
yeah,
it.
and then so you get people to bring in stuff that you never see. And I got
Yeah.
stuff to at every show. I got stuff today that I've never seen at shows going all the way back to the 90s. And that's almost every time we go. There's
Yeah.
something there that you're like, God, I don't think I've ever seen this at a convention.
So
Um,
the suspense is growing. I don't know which is growing more, your beard or the suspense of what
a
you got.
little
Let
a
me
little
bring it up.
while later,
Yeah.
we'll show a couple of things.
Yeah.
We'll give a preview.
Yeah.
But I do have the insane haul video that will be going up probably tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we're in particular focusing today on packaging nightmares, and this comes out of the concept that in my communication with Lou, for those of you who are chiming in here, he showed me a couple of gems this week, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, because I think most of us have had that moment where you get something in the mail and you're like, why did you do this? People do not how to pack. I'm like, how do you stay in business? How do these people have these eBay stores and stuff like that, and they're packing things like this? Do they think they're cute? I mean,
I don't know.
just to take things off. Once upon a time, and this was a couple of years back, I got a packet. I got an action figure delivered, and it was for the box was a box of honeycomb, the cereal. They use
I got a box of tacos or something once. It was like
they
old Paso or something. They shoved it inside. I'm like,
they
what?
wrapped it in paper, in like newspaper.
I didn't even
And I'm
get
like,
that.
where did you find newspaper? It's the 21st century. But they they put it in a box of honeycomb cereal, honeycomb big, yeah, 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 taped it and put a label on it. And of course it was demolished because that cardboard is like what, about as thick as 4 sheets of typing paper.
I don't even think that's cardboard. I think that's just thick paper, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And like, it's destroyed. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then you get your item is wrecked, and then you've got to go through the whole eBay rigmarole.
Yeah.
I like the one you showed me. Was it yesterday or this morning? The one you showed me in the bag. That was a classic. I
That
mean,
was in another group, and it was a bag of Doritos, And
Of all things,
they put the
Dorito.
item
In a
inside.
bag of
It was a
Doritos?
Doritos bag. They put the item
Oh
in the
my
Doritos
God.
bag, taped it shut, and put a postal label on it. I mean, you got to keep the postage is expensive, Lou. You got to keep.
I get that, but David, if you're going to use a bag, use
There
like
it is.
use like a bag from rice cakes. You're talking about Doritos that smell. You've got
I'm
cheese in
going to put that
there.
up there for so everybody can see what I'm talking about real quick. Someone
I don't
received.
believe that. Somebody
I
put
think that's
that
what I got
on
this
that
week.
bag. That was not mailed in the mail.
I don't doubt it, considering some of the nightmares that I've received in shipping.
I don't know. But I remember it was last week Saturday. Me and David were going to that bookstore that was closing, and he was playing
Book nook.
Lou's message because
Oh
Lou sends
yes,
voice messages. So
I'm
I'm
too lazy to
driving,
type.
and I hear his voice. I'm like, that's Lou talking.
yes.
And oh boy, I said, what happened? And then David told me.
Lou was just a little miffed.
So
I
we're
had a
gonna let
bad week.
Lou tell y'all
I had a really
what
bad week. Bad week this
happened.
week. Yeah,
Do you have that toy?
I do. I'm gonna show you it. So
Okay.
And we'll blow you up.
I'm gonna build up to it. So today
Okay,
I
so we're gonna
received.
blow
Okay.
you up. So we're gonna blow him up now.
No, he's going to build
No, no,
up.
no, not yet, not yet. I'll
Okay,
tell. Then you
let
can
me
blow it
see
up when
how
I
to
bring
blow
it out.
you up. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm gonna see how to
So
do it.
today I
Oh, okay,
received
that's not how
something.
to do
I had a little extra money in a Temu account. So I said, what am I going to do with this? Like, you better use it, you lose it. So I bought a neck of Frankenstein. Figured, what the hell? So it shows up, and they put the neck of Frankenstein in another
it.
box like this, which is fine, except there was a
Yeah.
little crush because this box went inside a plastic bag. And they slap a label. So what do you think happens? It goes to the post office. So if you open it up, you're like, hey, this is great. But essentially, the box got crushed. So therefore, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the whole box is just crushed up on the side. And I'm not like
Oh yeah.
monster, a super monster box collector, but it is nice to get. That was the first one. I opened a box later that came in the mail, which I showed you. And the side. So first of all, the box was shipped last Saturday from Texas. I'm in New Jersey. There's no secret to that. It
Okay.
sat in Texas with no update since Monday. It moved from one place and sat there. No update. Last night at 3:29 a.m., it said, hey, it's in your post office. Okay, so where's all the middle stuff it goes through? It shows up today, and the whole side of I don't have it here, but the whole side of the box, I showed you that, it was all split open, and the pieces were coming out because
Oh,
instead of taking this lot of what he thought was Big Jim stuff, but it wasn't, all these little tiny action figure pieces and putting them in a plastic bag and then wrapped them, he took basically the same kind of paper you wrap a sandwich in, put the pieces in, didn't he just folded it once and shoved it in the box so the pieces were everywhere. So I'm like, okay, so that's two, but here's the pièce de résistance. So I had to send this to David because we talk about this. I've heard you talk about it all the time. So I said, okay, here's this really great auction on eBay. And the price is just, it's almost too good to be true. The box is perfect. It's 50 some years old. I'm like, this is great. It was 75 bucks. Buy it now. I'm like, that thing goes for hundreds. I don't know why, but it does. I don't have it. I really need the box. Let me order it. So I order it. The guy says, this is mine from when I was a kid. Let's ship it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So last Saturday, I got a knock on my door and realized I don't have a lot of houses around me. So getting a knock on my door is like, who's here? They're coming to take me away. So it's my mailman. And there's snow on the front of the thing. And he's a great guy. And he says, and thank God it was him and not one of the temporaries, because the temporaries would have just left it in the snow and it would just absorb water. He says, I wanted to make sure I handed this to you because this looks like a classic toy, an old toy, and I don't want to leave it in the snow. And I'm like, how the hell does he know there's a classic toy inside a box without looking inside of it? Well, let me show you which box, let me show you which box it came in, because this is just beautiful. So this is the Empire Toys Chips van, right?
Yeah.
So I said, wow, this is great. Now realize when I ordered this, the box was perfect, at least the pictures. But what somebody did in their right mind is they taped it all up, slapped the label on this box, the actual 50-year-old box, and this got mailed. So my first thing is reach out to David and show him this disaster. And he says, okay, no worries. Use a hairdryer, pull the tape slowly, and off we go. And he was right. And I was able to get all the tape off with no damage. I go, great, the box is saved. Then I look at the front of the box, and I said, how about that? Here's a big
There's a hole.
because
Yeah.
it was shipped through the mail like this.
Oh my
It couldn't happen
God.
on the back, right? Or the side. It had to happen on the front. So even though I pulled the tape off without destroying the graphics, got a nice big hole in there. And I said to the guy, man, this stinks. And he said, well, my shipper should have put it in a box. I don't know why he did that. I said, I don't know
Yeah,
either.
right.
But the only good news to all this disaster, as I said to the guy, he said, well, I could probably give you like a little bit of a refund. I said, that's fine. He said, I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking to destroy your eBay store. You clearly only have a few feedback. You haven't been here long. And you didn't really price it what it should be worth. So, all right, whatever. So he said, okay, I'll say, and I didn't hear anything. So 2 days later, I sent him a picture. I said, I just want you to see what it looks like because you really should put it in another box. And he literally replied to me and said, that's terrible. And he refunded me the whole thing.
Oh
100%.
my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
Is perfect. It's mint. Everything. The stickers are good. But, you know, that the toy's easy to get. It's the box that's the nightmare.
Yeah.
That was just this week. I can't even tell you what happened other times, but that was just this week. It was a nightmare.
And that's the that's like one of the oldest excuses in the book because I've heard that so many times. It's, oh, well, the guy that ships it for me or the shipper.
Yeah.
And I think I told you at the time, I was like, what is this, 1986? You know, people was like, oh, I've got to bring it to the shipper. Nobody does that
No.
anymore. Nobody does that.
David, when you
Or-
wrote
or
me that
if you
message,
do,
you
or
wrote
if
me
you
that
do,
message like,
because you
who
know they
ships like
have,
that?
because I go to drop stuff off at the UPS store, and there's always like a line of bungling idiots that are standing there with loose stuff, and that's what holds things up. The post
Yeah.
office too. You'll be in line for 45 minutes, and it's because there's a bunch of old ladies up there. What kind of box do you think that I need for this? And you know, and then they got to get the box, and they got to get the wrap, and all they sell it, so it costs them a
Oh yeah,
fortune.
it costs an arm and a leg.
But they'll pack it for you. They're not going to take like a loose item like that and just slap a label on it.
No.
So I'm like, that's a load of crap. That person just said that. So oh, it's not my fault. It's the shipper. My guy.
I was so excited that David gave me great advice to get the tape off, and I went slow. And I think they used like Dollar Tree tape because it was so crappy. The glue was crummy to begin with, and it worked. I was like, this is great. I said, I didn't even pull any paper. It didn't destroy the graphics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awesome. Now I did. It wasn't too light in the room. I was probably upstairs, and I'm in a rush. And then I go downstairs. I'm like, oh, this is great. Let me go put it on the shelf. And I'm like,
wait a minute.
yeah, hold on a second. What? And I'm looking, I'm like, of all the places it could get hit. I mean, the other side's still stapled from 1970s. I'm like,
yeah, wow.
how the hell do they hit the one spot that it doesn't need to be? But like I said, the toy and everything inside was wrapped so well. It took me like an hour to get the bubble wrap off the damn thing.
And that all that tells me is they knew what they should have known what they were doing.
Yeah.
100% agree with you. I mean,
They
and I'm
should have
sure
known what they were doing.
you know how hard it is to find a box of that stupid thing? I mean, it's insane. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
it's called a shipper box. So in their mind, I'm supposed to ship this box.
Yeah, so
It's
if
a
you
shipper box.
if it was Montgomery Ward's in 1976,
Yes, that would have gone.
make sense. However, I will remind you, and Lou, you probably know this, that those shipper boxes also came in a sleeve.
Yes.
They had a cardboard insert sleeve that went over that shipper box.
That's right.
So the box graphics wouldn't be damaged.
But it's unbelievable because I said to the guy, I go, how did you not know? I said, if you didn't have a box, I said, I would have gladly paid for the shipping. I mean,
Sure.
the price of it, I would have paid for the shipping. It would have still been a steal.
So
And-
would you be shipping?
There was no shipping was free. So now you get what you
wow.
paid for, right? So I'm like, this is still now. I have two giant. These came in 3 weeks ago. Two giant. They're almost 2.5 feet, 3 feet long. Remote controlled. You know the old Fabian plastic cars from Italy. That guy put them in a box. It was so thick that if you hit it with a forklift, I think it would have tipped the forklift over. It was so well packed. I'm like, these are never going to make it from Italy. They're just going to be destroyed. They sat for, oh my God, how long did they sit? They sat there for like a month. Then they came down to New Jersey. Then they went back up to Connecticut. Now they were literally, the regional center by my house. They went back up to Connecticut. Then they went over to New York. And then
Hmm.
eventually they came back down. And we were actually talking about this in a group that there's a couple other guys of packages that literally it's like down the block from their house, and the package is sitting there, and then they're moving it somewhere else, and then
Hmm.
back again. And somebody was saying like they thought they heard like the postmaster general saying, we're getting too much stuff. We need to kind of move crap around. I don't know, slow stuff down. It's coming in too fast. I don't know. All I know is that, when you see something sitting there and you're like, especially this old toy that you want, and then it shows up late, and worse, it shows up like that. Yeah. The funniest thing was when David said, LPH just heard your message and just was like, just died.
She said she felt sick. She was like, "Oh no."
Man, because I heard you talking, and all I heard you talking about this box, and I'm like, oh no. And I know you didn't buy nothing like off of the shelf at Walmart, so I knew it was old. So I'm like, oh
I
man,
think the stuff from Walmart I mean, even the stuff from my Walmart looks like bombs go off constantly. It's so bad. Stuff's all over the floor. It's destroyed. The package is half ripped open, pieces. But like, I got to be honest with you, this stuff at Walmart, I thought did a better job than this. It was insane. But this stuff goes
yeah,
on all the time. I mean, it's just bad packing. And, again, fortunately, that Saturday, because my mailman works 5 out of 6 days and they rotate his day off. So when I get the temp, I'm not kidding. I've actually been in the house and watched them drive by as they're driving in the front of the driveway, throwing, like literally launching packages out the window or out the door, just throwing them. And I don't
oh
mean like
my,
a little envelope. I mean a box. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I've literally come home and there's been like a couple boxes laying on my front lawn. I'm like, in the rain. I mean, oh my God, I had this with FedEx and the mail, and it's always the temp carrier because my carrier never does it. But literally, they were so soaked with water that when I went for the box, it just disintegrated. I mean,
oh,
it just sometimes they put stuff in plastic, which is good, and other times like the stuff inside was destroyed. You know what they tell me at the post office? File a claim. I go, I mean, like the
It
claim
doesn't
is
work.
it's not the point. Yeah.
I've been through that because I've been through that just recently where somebody was telling me to file a claim on a couple of carded Star Wars figures that I got that were damaged. Um, and I'm like, there's no point
There's no
because
point.
the last time I filed a complaint with the post office, and I talked about this when I showed those figures. The
Yeah.
last time I filed a complaint with the post office, it was it was like what I think 14 months before I heard back.
Wow.
wow.
14, and you have to turn it in. You
Mhm.
have to give it to them for
Oh,
them to do their assessment, right? So 14 months later, I forgot they even had it. They
Hmm.
contacted
wow.
me that they're not going to accept the claim and to come pick it up. And when I picked it up, it was in worse condition than when I dropped it
Oh
off.
yeah, they probably destroyed it.
It was
I'm
completely
guessing they
wrecked.
just yeah.
And it's like,
Wow.
well, you can file a thing for that, or you can file an appeal. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm going to file an appeal in what?
And they're going to destroy it worse.
Wait 18 months, 20 months this time for what? So that you can tell me no? I'm like,
Yes.
no, it doesn't make any sense.
It's an endless battle with that. I mean, like I said, so my mailman has been nice. So to be honest, like for them, it's a pain in the butt. If you can fit in the mailbox, great. But my house is an acre from the road, and I have nothing covering the front door. That's my fault. I should put
Mhm.
a metal box or they could put it in. They wouldn't anyway. They just leave it.
He'll
But
set it on top.
yeah, but mine will walk to the back and put it under the cupboard. So he
Yeah.
gets a huge tip and he's very happy. So it's great. So and I've known him for 19 years. He's always cool about stuff. But when
Yeah.
you get that temporary guy, I don't know, they pay him like a couple $100 a day. Just get this, whatever's in your car, get it delivered and we'll pay you. I mean, they're literally like delivering newspapers, throwing packages out, some of them, not all of them. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I've literally seen them do it. And then I come running out of the house and I'm like, hey, wait. And I'm like, why are you throwing stuff? Well, I'm in a hurry. I'm like, it could be eggs inside there. I mean, they don't
Hey, they
care.
do deliver chickens.
Yeah. I mean, like I
Oh
said, I have
They
a
wow.
do
very
deliver.
nice mailman and he's
Yeah.
great, but it's insane. But I think the Doritos bag probably topped it. I mean, I've
I can
gotten
top that. I can top
then
that
that.
personal
What
experience.
did it come in a tissue?
But But I wanted to say though that whole like I gave it to somebody else to pack because I've heard that excuse before. Oh, my son packed it for me. Things like that. That's
Oh
up there.
yeah.
That's up there with when people are late. Oh, nostalgic is here.
David.
What's up,
When
Dave?
because you're like, hey, where the hell's my stuff? It's been 2 weeks and you haven't mailed it yet, and it's like, oh well, I'm sorry, my grandmother just died. I think
Oh
I think every third person on eBay, their grandmother just died,
yeah.
or something like that. And it's like, whatever, just mail the damn package, will you? Or if I have to mail something, it's out the next day. So
Yeah,
that's
I
just
agree with you.
frustrating.
I think we were talking, not us, but somebody, we were talking how like we're seeing stuff in Europe. They'll hold it, you'll pay for it, and some of the guys who were buying stuff overseas, it does Italy. Actually, not from the. There's a guy by from the Netherlands. He's good, but Italy and a couple other places, and it sits there for at least a week before they go to the post office. Like no priority on it, you know. And I've had that here too, where people are like, oh, well, I only go to the post office once a week. I'm like, well, it's been 2.5 weeks. So which one of those days do you go? Like, there's only 7 days in a week.
Oh well, my uncle just died, or
Yeah, yeah.
especially when the pandemic was going on.
Oh yeah.
They and people were like, oh well, so and so just got the big C.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, always
sure they
COVID.
did. Sure they did. Oh, my wife or my uncle or
Oh,
somebody
always.
just died, and I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy.
I,
Yeah,
I
it was like the world's biggest excuse for
oh
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it was 2 years ago, but I told you this the other day, Dave, and you might have seen. I think I did a video on it. So I bought for those who aren't familiar, Topper Toys made the Topper Tigers from, and they made these big remote control tanks. They were wired, but I buy them, and they're usually they used to be expensive, but they're always broken because I don't know how they operate. So I get them here, I fix them, whatever. But I get this tank, and it came with the box. This is the first one I've seen with the box. So they're either late '60s or early '70s. It's just a few years, but they're heavy. I mean, there's metal in them. These toys have metal, and they're heavy. So this guy took the tank, and you figure you're going to wrap it in plastic, even if you have to flatten the box, which I'm okay with. But what he did was he put inside the box, and the box was probably about as big as this one here. Actually, it was bigger than that. He put it in, and then he got a giant, and when I say giant, I mean one of those big, large moving boxes from like Home Depot. He put the tank inside the original box with no wrapping, nothing. And he put
Hmm.
that box inside the other box, and he filled it with popcorn. Okay, fair
Okay.
enough. So you know that box isn't going to be. There's no this side up, no front, nothing. So you know it's just rolled down because if you ever see USPS and stuff, it's just rolled down the alley there. Thing shows up. The box is kind of dinged up. I'm like, all right, well, this is a huge box. Should be okay. So I open it up, and there's popcorn everywhere. And I mean, not the kind you can put in the water, like the crappy foam one that goes everywhere, sticks everywhere. So I go and I find the tank buried underneath, and I get the tank out. As I'm digging the tank out, I'm seeing chunks of box within the bigger box.
Oh my God.
So what happened was because they put the tank inside the box and there was no wrapping, because if you're buying it at a store, you're just gonna take it out probably at it was rolling around inside the box. The box was 50 years old, dry as a bone, most likely, and it just
Mm.
the paper was everywhere. The only good thing out of that story, and the guy said, "Well, we had a new guy, so I fired him. So I'll give you $20 back." I'm like, "Do you know how much I paid for this thing?" So the only good thing that came out of that is I started dumping the popcorn out to get rid of it. I noticed the one thing they didn't put in the auction is that the tank did come with the plastic little what do you call them, tank ammo, the bullets or whatever. They didn't say that. So I found all those, but they're white inside of
Yeah.
a giant moving box full of popcorn. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So I took a big piece of black poster board. I took the box pieces. I just glued it so it's flat. Now it's a poster back in the total
Oh,
solitude. But yeah, that was a nightmare.
That's what happened with the Star Wars figures because they were in a case.
Oh yeah.
They were inside of a showcase, right?
Oh yeah.
There was two figures, but if you're going to ship it, even though it's inside the case, like you got these. Most people know, like this kind of thing, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
That
It's still loose.
figure, that figure is still going to rattle around
Oh
inside
yeah.
that plastic.
Yeah. It's
So
like putting rocks in there.
you put something inside this case to keep the figure from shifting.
Mm-hmm.
You would take
Yeah.
like school wrap or something and put it
Yeah.
in, but he didn't. He just had the figures in the case inside of a box, and figured they would be okay, but they weren't. They shifted up and down while they were
Yeah, it
being,
starts doing this. I
and
mean,
they broke through the packaging and came.
oh.
So they were they were ruined.
I mean, plastic gets brittle over time, right? We all know that. And even if it's well kept, the one thing, like whatever this guy did with this box originally before it went through the mail, he took good care of it, because I can tell you the box literally still smells sort of new. I'm not like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a box sniffer. I don't know how that could gross, but
Too late.
it smells relatively new, and it's not all dried out like some of these. I mean, I have boxes that are so beat to crap they're not even worth keeping, but I'm like, whatever.
Oh,
But yeah,
keep that
so I
box.
mean, even the graphics on it, like David, if I should, they're like, I'm like, it's like it came off the shelf with this big hole in it. Actually, it looks like it sat on the shelf in Walmart's. What it look, in my Walmart's, what it looks like.
Yeah,
But the figure's in good shape. I mean, the
It's
vehicle.
well, it was a big Empire Toys van. It's over here. Yeah, it's actually, there was like two little cracks on it. He showed me. So, but it's got all the, yeah, it's one of these. Listen, I don't love chip stuff, so don't get all like crazy when you start seeing the big pictures of the guys on the side. But the van was in almost in like perfect shape. The
oh
stickers
wow.
are absolutely phenomenal. I'm like, this is good. Normally, this is all beat to crap. He's like, this was mine was a kid. He goes, I put it away and never use. Even inside it, there's no dust in it. Normally, these are dusty and dirty, and you got to wash them. And then it did come with a original, let me please say original Mego Punch action figure, which
okay.
I care less about the figure, but it was, but it's in great shape. And as David, I actually thought I had this van, but apparently I didn't. So it's going to get on the shelf with the rest of them.
I want to drive around in a van with a big picture of my face on the door.
It's
You know?
like it's the most ridiculous. I mean, it's got the steering wheel. You never find these things with the steering wheel. They're always beat the crap. I know one other guy who's got, I think, everything, every van in the box, and I think almost all the helicopters. My friend Troy, and he's trying to find a Hulk when everybody's getting rid of them. But yeah, but it's like it is a little ridiculous with the giant Punch and John stickers on there. I never got chips. I never really understood the show. I never
Well, we
understood.
were too young then. I mean,
Yeah.
so I remember watching it, but I don't remember the
I don't
show.
remember it either,
Yeah.
but I remember it being on. But we have a question for you. K
Yeah.
Munin wants to know, what do you predominantly collect?
Jesus. So my original collection started off probably like a lot of people with old Mego stuff. I don't collect that anymore. I have very few pieces. A lot of it's 60s, 70s. I do have some newer stuff. Actually, if you were to walk into Open by Chance basement, remove all the packaging, get rid of all the nice boxes, throw them through a rock tumbler about 5 or 6 times, and then threw them into my basement. That's basically kind of what I collect. A lot of knockoff crap. And to be very honest, there's things in my collection, like, thank God I started watching David's videos, because I wouldn't have known they existed. And I mean, but if it's the crappiest stuff, my thing is, I think stuff that has really good card art or box
Mhm.
art. I like a lot of that stuff. And if it's a toy that I can repair, meaning it's battery operated, mechanical in nature to a point, like a remote control vehicle, I love taking that stuff apart and making it work again. But I have a little of everything. There is some newer stuff, but I have videos you guys can go look. I walk through this, I don't know what we call it, hoarding area, if you will, of toys, and yeah, you can see the kind of stuff that's in there. Well, I I look at David's and it's nice and organized, and mine's like stuff everywhere. It's a little nutty.
Hey, if you're happy, it doesn't
I
matter.
know, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
As I get away from my daughter, I hide down here for a while.
Oh, okay.
David bought a Sideshow James Bond Jaws figures, and the seller let the figure bounce around the box. And when it arrived, Jaws had a nice big blue rub on his nose.
Paint rub.
Oh, paint rub.
Oh,
I get blue from.
I don't know,
that sucks.
Whoa.
because it made you feel blue to read that.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, we've had some nightmares. We've had a figure forced into the mailbox.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
This was obviously too big for the mailbox. And we actually went out and bought an oversized mailbox. because we know we live like up this mountain. So the mailman doesn't like to walk up the mountain. Some of them drive up the mountain. Um, but we was like, okay, we're gonna buy this oversized mailbox, and it's a big mailbox, but this box didn't fit, but they made it fit.
There's been a couple of times where they've crammed the box in there so tight, I've had to slice open the side of the box and remove the contents to get it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he did a video or a short of one.
It was just
Crammed
accordion.
in.
It was destroyed. And I'm like, oh my God. And the thing that was in it, though, was fine.
Yeah.
Actually. And that
That's
particular
crazy.
item, the item was fine, but the box was demolished. But
That's
the one of my bigger horror stories, and I've told this one before, it was Futurama. You know, the Futurama action
Yeah.
figures? And I won 4 of them in an auction. And they had the flap. So
Wait a minute. Was it less than $5 like you normally are able to do, or did you actually have to pay rent for these?
so I got
You're always getting the deals on the hard to find
of course
stuff.
I have to get the deals or I couldn't. But they stacked them together, because they have the flaps. You invert them,
Yeah.
right? They put 2 and 2, and then they took the box tape and wrapped them around the figures, right? One
On
way,
the actual packaging.
one wrapped around the action figures, around the packaging, and
Mhm.
then around the other side.
Oh my
Right.
God.
You're
You're making me cringe.
and then wrapped that in Christmas paper. Like when you're giving a
I
present,
remember.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
wrapped it in Christmas
Put it
paper
under the tree for a year.
and put the label on that. And I get it. And I've got this box and it's got a Christmas label and it's destroyed. It's crushed and ripped. And I'm like, what did they wrap this around the outside of the box? And then I could see the action figure packaging through the holes because it tears easy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, that didn't happen. And open it up. And of course, not only did you wrap it in Christmas paper and mail it like that, and it got kicked all over creation, you taped the figures together with box tape.
So,
And I'm like,
You mean
oh
the clear,
yeah,
clear tape,
the thick tape,
the packing tape?
yeah.
Oh
So-
God.
so that I think you've answered this before, David, but I'm going to ask. And I think maybe it came up in some of your videos where people say, like, if you get something
Wow.
like that you want, you return it. Do you open it? I mean, I guess it depends what it is.
You
But in
film
that
it,
case,
film it while you open it.
Yeah.
so the look on your face is
That way,
disgusting.
when eBay questions you, when
Yeah.
their AI program gives you a hard time for the first
Oh yeah,
third
please.
attempt, then you have the video footage you can send them so that when it eventually does get to an actual person in Pakistan, they can look at it and see that it's that I see, he really did have a damaged package. I will have to give him a refund. But but when Haji over in Johnny Quest's island gets the phone call after AI has rejected you 6 or 7 times,
Oh yeah.
then
It's-
they'll see that there was an actual problem.
Yeah.
But it depends. If it's something like insane rare, I might hold on to it. But usually it's like, oh, you know what, jackass, take it back. Or if they refuse, though, if they refused and you get all the way through the eBay's process 2 or 3 months later,
Mhm.
Odds are they'll give you a full refund without having to return it.
Yeah.
That's so. I'm going to be honest with you. When this showed up like this, and I said, well, it was free shipping and this, that, and the other thing. But the reality is, I was buying it for the box, right? I said,
course.
I guess I can live with it for now. And when they gave the full refund, I'm like, no point in sending. I did not. I want to go clarify that I did not even ask for a partial refund. The officer said, well, that would be nice. I just think for future. I know it was nice. I said, you probably want to put in something else because some people will go, batso on you.
Yeah.
Like that, where other people might, they might not be so happy about it. But I think if it's something like, to me, if it's rare, yeah, I'll hold on to it until I maybe find something to replace it with. But at the same time, if it's not so rare and I got it for like $1, then I might just cut it open and stick it out there, and then go find a better example. It is hard to. It, I, you're right. It depends on what it is, and I know you
Yeah.
guys have some really tough stuff to find, and it's all in really nice packaging.
As
Johnny,
you know as well as I do, there's certain things never show up. So it's like, what do
yeah,
you do?
Yeah, because I had that one Bible figure, and you told me, hey, that's a hard one to find. Just keep it, and
yeah,
I did. But boy, it came. The package was just wrecked. It has that, it has that top part
yeah. So
that
it was all
was bent
folded.
over, and I
Just
was just
badly
like,
packed.
yeah, it
Which
was
is what
heavy.
Frankenfrog is saying
Hmm.
here. They got a Simpsons toy, they put it in a box that was too small and folded the card back.
Oh,
And I've had that happen so many times.
Thank you, Stone
Yeah,
Sour, for
Stone
the
Sour made a
donation.
donation for the cat fund. Thank you.
Yes. But you know what really offends me is this guy, and you know the one, the $1 million man guy that's at every show, and all he sells is $1 million man. I mean,
what is
six
that?
million
Million
dollar
dollar
man.
Oh, I
man.
was gonna say.
Oh Jesus.
Now he's professes to be $6 million man expert.
Hmm.
That's all he sells.
He'll have like 5 tables. It's all
All
Kenner $6 million man
yeah,
stuff.
and
Is it the
Bionic
same
Woman.
stuff, or is it just?
Yes, it's all. That's all he
That's all.
sells.
He will
He
go
might have
around and buy everybody else's,
throughout the
so they
show,
won't
so they
have
won't
any.
have it.
So he has
Yeah.
OCD.
Yeah, he'll have like a like totes with like 60, 70 Steve Austins in them,
What?
and
Yeah.
like dozens of boxed examples. And he might do
He does
Duke,
Big Jim.
like if he finds Duke
Yeah.
or something, he might have that, but
Mhm.
it's all $6 million man.
Does he
Yeah.
raise the prices because he's the only?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's up there.
Oh, so
But the
he's
thing that
raping people.
I found offensive a few years ago, he would bend all of the cards back because it has that
Yeah,
flat.
the side. It's got the
Yeah,
side.
let me show for people
Side
that
arm, side
don't know.
sleeve.
Hold on a minute.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So he'll have
Yeah.
this.
Box flap.
Oh, the flap.
Yes.
And
yeah.
he will bend this back.
Because you know
So
how
you'll open it.
some people think it's a lid
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not.
And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you're an expert.
You're making it worse. And if even if it had been bent that way already,
Yeah.
you don't want to keep,
You don't want to keep bending it.
because eventually it'll tear loose if you keep opening and closing it constantly.
Oh yeah,
It's
it just goes.
why are you doing this? It.
And now he does reproduction boxes.
Oh yeah.
I don't like that.
That's the other thing. Like, when people make a reproduction, I think it's great when they tell you that it is, and you make the decision if you want it or not. But
Or if it's clearly
that's something.
marked.
Yeah, or it's clearly marked, right? But I have bought one or two things only. I've been fortunate that have been boxed or carded, and I'm like, this isn't
Pastor
original.
Rick.
Thank
This
you,
is
Pastor Rick.
this is reproduction. Yeah, it's a
Rick,
reproduction box, and then the seller's like, oh, I didn't know that, and then you're sitting there going, do they know? Don't they know? Do they know? I try and give everybody the benefit of the doubt until you
Yeah.
start seeing it. You start going to groups and like, oh, that guy, master MIB Master Toy Museum guy selling toys.
Yeah.
Sorry, Johnny, selling toys, and all the boxes are fake. You start seeing all then not that he does that, but then you would start realizing what people do, and it stinks. I mean, I've had stuff come in that I bought. It's like, oh, look at this, is a really rare toy. And I'm like, and I buy it. I'm like, wait a minute, this is just somebody kit bashed a figure from a
Yeah.
bunch of other parts. And I've even had people say, Lou, that's not even a original figure. That's a kit bash. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
And then you contact them, and then they're like, "Oh, I had no idea that was a reproduction.
Mhm.
I'm
Exactly.
so sorry."
Exactly. I think
That's
that's yeah, I mean, the shipping thing's tough. I'm around here, not gonna lie, my post office has been way behind for the most part. They've been shorthanded, and they've told me we're shorthanded. We got all these temps coming in, they work for a couple
Yeah.
weeks, then they quit and they get benefits, they get unemployment, so they just do this. So they have their couple of consistent people when you go in, and they're good. But even I've gone in to say, hey, look, they're just throwing packages out. I got video of them whipping the package out the door like a frisbee, and they're like, there's nothing we can do. If we get rid of them, then we don't
Yeah,
have
we have
anybody. And
nothing.
then I can get the package. So, but at the same time, I've had UPS and FedEx deliver packages. And although I found they've been pretty much more on time, I have the same problem where they'll leave them in the rain, like literally leave them in the rain. So if it's something like this for future, my words would be, hey, before you ship that, could you make sure it's in another box? I'll pay you for it, or plastic bag around. I like when people put a plastic bag around and kind of tie it inside the box, so God forbid the box gets wet, or oil on it from laying on the on the deck at the deck or on the ground at the UPS facility. At least that way it doesn't get onto the item. But yeah, I mean, there's so many horror stories with stuff. Fortunately, for the most part, things have been pretty good, I would say. But you got that other thing too, David, where you buy like carded stuff, and you're right, they shake around, and then the glue comes off the plastic,
Yes.
pulls from the card, and then you're like, do I glue it back together and tell everybody I glued it, or do I just leave it as is, to be honest with you? So
I don't want to catch up a couple of comments here. I wanted to say thanks.
You guys are making some money on those kitties. That's great.
Pastor Rick helped us out with the shelter cats, as did me. Meemaw also gave us a donation for the cats.
Thank you.
We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
And,
how many do you have now?
As we have 18.
Yeah, we still got 18.
Yeah.
My God, I have 11, and I thought that was a lot. Holy smoke!
Uncarded is here, and Justice for Comics says one of his prize collectibles is the Mondo Iron Giant 16-inch figure.
You have that, don't you?
Iron Giant? No.
But you have an Iron Giant, right?
No. And Kay Munin wanted to ask Lou a question. Do you have any items that are in the packaging?
Many items in the packaging.
Because you do both.
Yes,
I do both.
Okay.
I'll buy stuff that's like missing a foot or a hand if it's dirt cheap, and then
if it's from Durham, that's just
it's from Durham. That's normal. So go ahead.
Get that Kung Fu Man.
He's the worst with the glue, and then the glue stain gets on the clothes, and no matter what you do, that glue just comes pouring out. I think they have some of the best card art, but some of the worst figures. The paint, I don't know how kids didn't die from those things, because the paint just chips off. So I'm hoping it's non-toxic, because otherwise I probably have paint cancer.
That's because that's because they didn't use interior packaging when the 8-inch figure. They hot glued his feet to the inside of the box, and that's why he's got glue all over him.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But the paint, David, when you have those figures, you can see them in the package, you can get them loose. The paint
it chips off.
The little ones, it chips off the bodies. I mean, the best one I'm going to tell you, and if honestly David didn't tell me this, I would have probably never known it, is the Bluebeard figure, which took me how long, David? 3 years after you told me to find one. And I'm like, I don't care if I have to sell the house, I'm getting this thing. Fortunately, it didn't cost that much, but that's probably one of my prizes. And that's a package figure that, as bad as the figure is, that I really cherish, because it
between the Bluebeard and the Fireman, because the Bluebeard, he's got a parrot for a hand.
Yeah,
it doesn't get better than that.
But it's on his shoulder on the card art, like where it should be. But I'm like, thank God it's not a chicken. I mean, it's just a parrot, right? So
that's a parrot.
What is this? I'm like, is he killing the thing? Yeah,
parrot for a hand.
Yeah,
and he's got a parrot for one hand, and the other hand is a hook. And I'm like, how does this guy wipe? but the card art is fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Well, feathers are waterproof, but
that's true. Do you have yours handy? Because mine's somewhere back there.
It right now.
Is he getting it? Yeah.
Who are wondering?
There it is. Your card is spectacular.
There is the Durham Bluebeard.
Yeah.
And you see there's the parrot. There's the parrot hand. And then there's the hook.
So is he supposed to be holding the parrot in his hand?
I guess. I mean, but
your card is outstanding, David. Mine's, I think, a little warm, but I'm trying to figure out if he was supposed to be going after Mego's pirates, or was this a Fighting Furies thing, or was this?
I would guess Mego pirates, because this would be like what, 74-ish.
Yeah, I think it was around 74. Yeah,
but between him and the Fireman, those are the two of this scale that are of the worst possible design.
Oh,
But then the
also
artwork is amazing. The artwork
the
is so
artwork is
fun.
amazing. And how
Yeah.
much were those? $1.99 at probably Woolworths back in the day. Those are, I mean, those. I think. What's
They
that?
around $1 because I got a couple with price tags on them.
I mean, but the dollar was a little bit more back then, right? But those were the ones that I think, like you've said before, Dave, you said some things you guys talked about, like your grandmother went to get you a birthday present or a Christmas present. She
Nana.
thought she's getting you a G.I. Joe, and she comes out with this. And they probably,
Yeah.
the reason there's probably so few of them is because they probably sat on the pegs or peg warmers. They went to the garbage, or they're sitting in some warehouse under the sea that nobody knows about because they're just junk. But they're a lot of fun to hunt and collect. They're difficult. Some of them, yeah.
I bought David a figure like that one year. What, for Christmas or your birthday? I thought it was a Rambo figure.
Oh God. Yeah.
What was it?
She well, hold on. I
A
think
Ron Jeremy figure or something?
No, Action Man or something. I thought it was one of those UK versions because I saw somebody else's video.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get David something like that. I think it's supposed to be like Action Man or something,
Oh,
but
boy.
it wasn't.
she
And,
thought she was thinking Coleco Rambo. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, something.
But this is what it was.
Sweet. That's actually better because it's probably the last existing example on the planet.
I'm not complaining.
That is a
El
what is it?
Rambo
Chuck
el
Norris and Sylvester
Adventure Man.
Stallone?
Adventure Hombre.
Wait, does he come with the rocket launcher or no? Is it a
Yeah,
rocket launcher?
it's in
Yeah,
there.
he got all
Oh
that.
wow.
A
Oh,
bow.
it's even got the grenade on the end.
Yeah, he's got an RPG and a bow and some arrows and
So what year is that? Is that 90s?
It's
no,
nothing on
no,
the back or
it's
nothing.
early.
It's
It's
just like ball on the back.
it's 80s. There's no
Sweet.
barcode.
That's oh yeah, no barcode. Yeah, that's a good. That's awesome. Listen,
Yeah.
that should be right at the front. Why is that not hanging behind you?
That's
Because
what
I
I'm
told her,
saying.
I was like, well, no, it's not Rambo, but I do like it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I think listen, some of that for me, I started collecting all the knockoff crap because when I started years ago, is that it was so much less expensive. And at the time when I was married, my wife's like, "We're spending all our money on toys." I'm like, "I'm only spending like $10 or $15."
Mhm.
Unfortunately, those same stupid toys I wound up selling and now trying to get back are now, hundreds or thousands. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But I don't know. I like the knockoff crap. I guess Woolworths was a big thing in my life when I was a kid. We'd go sit at the luncheon counter and all that crap and eat.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the one for you, Lou.
Oh
This is
God,
the
I'm
one
afraid to
for you.
look.
The ultimate.
Now Lou got to go find
What is
that.
that?
Lou will
What is
never
that?
find this.
Is it Spanish? Is it?
This is from. No.
Yes, it is, right?
It's
It's in Spanish.
What is that?
It says, wait,
That
the
is in
Invincibles
Spanish.
of the Ring. Oh, it's a wrestling figure. So it's got to be from, I'm assuming it's from
Yeah.
Mexico. So is the
Yeah.
card art,
It's
wait,
something
David,
on
did
the
you
back.
color that or does that come that way?
It's Mexico, okay, but it was made in Macau. It was
Wait a
made
minute.
in Macau, sold in Mexico, okay. That is the card art. It is crayon.
I was gonna say, is that a 7-year-old colored that and drew that? Because I mean, it
Because
looks
I
like
have
a
a
kid did it.
few. I have a few different wrestlers from this set, and
Oh
it's
my
all
God.
got the same card.
So what are
Um,
those? 80s?
Yeah, late 80s.
And nothing on
And
the
they
back?
didn't even finish. They were in such a hurry they didn't even finish it because they were supposed to the circles here. You see a neck and a head, but they didn't have a chance to actually even finish the card. You need to get this out to the market.
That is what I would call just craptacular. That's
You
fantastic.
see the
And the He-Man
mask.
rip-off body.
Yeah.
I have 2 of these, and I've had a lot of people ask about these because they've tried to find them on eBay and they've never been able to
We
find
look
them.
for a toy with crayon background. Well, so I think it says totally articulated, and it looks like it's articulated at the shoulders, the head. It's a
Shoulders, elbows, knees.
Oh, the
Yeah.
elbows too. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's articulated all over, and the mask actually goes on his little head.
Oh, he got him. Oh, yeah, I see the
He's
mask.
got his luchador mask. He's a
Ah.
luchador, and the little green lightning striking the ring, and
Oh wow.
it's
So oh my god. So do you have any of these loose or no? They're all carded, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Right?
carded.
No
the
loose.
card.
Do you ever see them loose or no?
I've
Ever?
never seen these. The ones I've got are the only ones I've ever seen.
Oh my god. So they were made. They were made by a guy and his kid in Mexico. They just stuck them on a card. He said, "Color me a background." I mean,
No,
you
they
gotta give the
were
art
made
credit.
in Macau and shipped to Mexico.
So I'm just trying to think. So you know how cheap the labor would have to be to make it in Macau and
There's
then
nothing
ship
like
it for
that.
sale in Mexico?
Yeah,
I mean, that's seriously think about that. How inexpensive it would have to be to make them. I mean, because a lot of stuff. Well, a lot of stuff was made in Mexico was inexpensive, but wow, that's crazy.
Let's
Custom
catch up a
designed.
little bit while David's going.
here's the other one.
Oh,
See, there's the other one, and it's
let's make
and it's
it
the
big
exact
Is
again.
it the
same.
same? Is it the same Crayola drawing?
It's the exact same. Yeah, that's the actual card back. See, and it's the same figure. They just recolored him, but he does have a different mask.
I mean, I got to give them some credit. You got to have a hell of a lot of balls to put something out on a crayon card background, and then say like, "Hey, you need to pay me for this because my 7-year-old colored this."
Family business,
Yeah.
Lou.
Business, yeah,
Everybody's involved.
yeah. You're right. You're right. I mean, and the cards are spectacular. I mean, they're actually in great shape and everything. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're twice the size of the figure, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, the card.
Wow.
They spared no expense in the size of the card.
It's
I wanted the guy with the tiger mask, but you
That's-
know,
wait a minute. So what do you got? You have like what is that? Like a spaceman, some kind of aquatic guy, tiger guy. The one to the let's see, to me, the right of the tiger mask, that green hair, he almost looks something out of that. What was that cartoon, Super Jail? They look like they're. Have you ever seen that cartoon, Super Jail? It's like a weird,
I don't
crazy,
think so.
drug-ridden cartoon. That's what they look like. It's not.
You
But
notice
these
also-
masks don't fit
No,
the stuff up here.
They don't match. The
They don't
masks
match.
don't match.
Oh my God, you're right.
You see that? Because there's no orange guy or this guy.
And
Oh,
they were only slated for 4 figures because there's only slots for 4 faces on the card.
But you've
Yeah.
only got two
2.
there, right?
Yeah, I've only got 2. So
No, but there's only 2 on the. So is it 4 circles? Are there 2 circles filled in the middle, or no? Those are just something else.
there's 4 circles total.
So what is on the left and the right of him? They look. Are those? Is that more coloring? Like, yeah, that. Yeah.
That's a little ring.
So it's not enough that you have one in the background. You got to draw a mini. Oh my goodness! How many times do they have to sharpen their crayons to make that happen?
I don't know. And that guy, little ultimate warrior wannabe right there.
Oh yeah, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And honestly, they probably have. Those are probably Dollar Tree crayons that they used to make it even worse.
This is. I mean, that's yeah. This is
That's
right up your alley,
insane.
Lou. Right up your alley.
And
I'm
those
gonna
are,
read a couple of comments.
Okay.
and you don't have those all wrapped in a plastic container.
Okay, Star Wars, the Plastic Underworld says, I've heard some horror stories about the modern Motu figure collections where the bubbles aren't properly glued to the card and they arrive complete. I mean,
Bad.
yeah, and this modern stuff, the quality is just ridiculous. K Muni says, give them credit. They came close to looking like Rambo. That action figure, that Adventure Man, that card art is really nice. It does.
It's got some Chuck Norris quality to it with the beard, I think.
Yeah, it got some. David's accent sounds like a Scottish accent, says Lee.
So where you roll your R's.
From what I've heard, some of these wrestling bootlegs are supposedly valuable. I don't know squat about wrestling merchandise. A lot of them are. We see them at the shows, and they go for a couple of $100. Those Mexican bootlegs.
Yeah.
And Custom God is here. Hey Lou. Hey David. Hey LPH.
And Saturday Morning Fan hired a kid at McDonald's. They saw to make that art. I don't know. Do they have McDonald's in Macau?
they paid him in chicken McNuggets. Oh, actually, they probably paid him in the McRib because that is the best. As David said, the bologna basted in barbecue sauce sandwich.
Barbecue sauce
Yeah,
sandwich.
that's all it
Love
is.
the
Yeah,
McRib.
you could make those at home, Lou.
Uh,
Hmm.
you know, there's something about going through the drive-through and
Oh, is
having
there?
somebody tell me it's $18 to get a sandwich
Oh
and a
man,
Coke. That I don't want to make them at home. Must be the packaging or something.
yeah. It's the prestige of going to McDonald's.
It is, and I do miss. Yeah, are you going to use the app today? Meanwhile, the app takes 10 minutes to come up on my phone, but I do miss the old days of the styrofoam packaging for burgers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I hate the paper stuff. I
That's
really.
nostalgic now. Unused styrofoam containers, they sell like hotcakes.
You're
Yeah, they
kidding
do.
me.
Yeah,
No, they
they do.
do.
You can go on eBay and you'll see the one for the pancakes,
What?
the one for the hamburger.
What?
They'll
Yeah,
sell.
yeah, they sell. They sell pretty good, and you
You
get
are
a good.
kidding me.
People are that nostalgic, Lou.
Yeah, they
They're
do.
hurting that much.
And I remember when I worked at McDonald's and we had the pancake ones. Man, we
Yes.
threw those away all the time. If I
Yeah, I,
knew,
I
I
was
would
going
have.
to say. Well, I
Yeah,
remember you'd try and shove them in the garbage can, and so the garbage can could always handle like maybe 50 times more space than it did because those styrofoam containers were never
yeah,
pressed. People just put them in, they'd pile up. So, you more bag. Wow, I can't believe. I mean, I've seen. To me, I was actually a little not shocked, but surprised. I saw people collecting cereal boxes. They buy them and flatten them. So I thought that's kind of an easy one though, because you can kind of flatten them and put them in a catalog, if you
Some
will.
of those are insanely expensive.
yeah. Because
Depends what you're looking for.
I
I
have
got some
one.
Captain Crunch if anybody needs them. It's right
No,
upstairs. I'll be happy to send you a
is
box.
it the old one from the
No,
80s?
the new one,
Uh,
$50
no,
special discount.
no. They do go for a couple of $100 though. The
That's
older ones, the
unbelievable.
80s, with the various characters like
Mhm.
Mr. T and Strawberry Shortcake Transformers. Couple $100 for those things.
So I guess then you can cross collecting like people who are Transformers fans or Mr. T fans in addition to serial fans, right? I guess and I'm
Mhm.
assuming if they've got Star Wars on it, they're through the roof at this point, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
superheroes.
or if they had some kind of promo like the Ninja Turtle ones that came with a free cereal bowl, shrink
Yeah.
wrapped to the box,
Yeah.
still sealed, they can go for quite a bit.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I have
stuff
The
the
old
like
records.
yeah,
The
you
old
have the
records on the back that you can
yeah,
peel off.
I have the one with Batman and it has the bank and the
Really?
bank wrapped.
Oh, wrapped to the cereal box.
yeah,
Yeah.
Why do I remember that? Was that an 80s thing?
Yeah.
1989
The 89
Yes, I
Michael
remember that.
Michael Keaton Batman.
Wow, I can't. Wow, I actually remember that one. That was and I think the funny thing is when we were kids, I think I used to beg my mom to get us that kind of cereal, and all my mom would buy is, especially when we moved to Italy, all she would buy is cornflakes.
Ugh.
She's like, just put some sugar on it, tastes the same. I'm like, Mom, cornflakes in 12 seconds are disgusting and soggy, but that's all
Yeah.
she buys, cornflakes, cornflakes. I'm like, cornflakes suck, you know. Now I got fruity
That
pebbles out the
sounds
wazoo.
familiar.
David says, we're so heavily taxed in Canada. My dinner was a bologna sandwich.
You hope it was bologna.
Peanut butter and jelly, David. Peanut butter and jelly.
You hope it was bologna. You'll be like the guy. You'll be like the guy in the ham chunks in 1984, Orwell's 1984.
Oh,
Oh, it might not be pork, but that would taste good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
And
it's
that
not
little
cat.
boy told on him. But how do you feel about 3D printed parts? Because I know you buy things and then you'll buy a figure and then you'll complete it.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I don't know. I don't know if it was David I was talking to somebody. I kind of try and keep as much as I can original. I'm not against 3D printed stuff. If you like it, you like it. I
Yeah.
love original. And honestly, if I was to pull, I'd rather, it's terrible to say, but if I'd rather have an original figure that's maybe missing some accessories that's original than one where I replace with 3D. Not to knock anybody who does it. Like I don't. And I don't really even buy repro boxes for things. Some people, I want to put a repro box, and they can look cool. And there's guys out there make boxes. They're not even repro; they're custom and they're beautiful. I just don't typically do that. I mean, I have some 3D printed stuff that people have given me and stuff, which is cool. I just don't really go out and buy too much of that. I think 3D printing has kind of changed the world a little bit, and I think you got to be careful because some people can't tell if it's 3D printed or real sometimes.
Well, you have to
Yeah.
also be careful because one of the complaints that I've heard the most often is that a lot of the stuff that was 3D printed before, it's starting to dissolve. So you replaced, you got that 3D printed Godzilla fist
Yes.
replacement,
Mhm.
and then like 5 years later, it's starting to crumble. And
Or,
so,
or liquid comes out of it sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard
yeah, I've
about
heard that.
that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a good option at all personally, but you know,
Somebody was telling me that there's a guy at Prince. He says if it doesn't cure properly, then it can do that. Like I bought some figures from somebody, and the heads I didn't realize they were 3D printed, and mine have been fine. But one of my friends who bought the same ones, like one day he said he got it, and the head just like split open and liquid came out because it didn't
Oh
cure properly.
wow.
Yeah, so that's
yeah.
kind of a nightmare. You like if these things start popping open and I find liquid on the ground, it's all over the classic figures. So I guess here's what you do: you take your 3D printed stuff, put it lowest to the ground so it doesn't, run all over your vintage crap or something. But yeah, I don't do too much with that. There's some things. I mean, I've seen some people do some amazing stuff. If I was going to buy something 3D printed, it would be probably something that's just crazy. Like I've seen guys print 6 foot Creature from the Black Lagoon figures.
Oh yeah.
That kind of thing would be
I
kind of
saw a guy do a Mazinger recently that was
yeah,
like 7 feet tall.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
That's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
you still run the same risk if they don't do it
Yeah.
right. That kind of thing. And I don't know how they ship all that stuff. It is, it's really funny because I was on Temu.com. Now I'm not advertising for them, but they have some stuff there, and I've got some knockoff Transformers stuff, pretty cool. But they have a lot of stuff on there that they're selling, and it's marked 3D printed.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff traditionally comes, to be honest with you, the stuff that's on there is usually stuff from China that they're flooding into the US, instead of Alibaba or whatever. And their only thing is their shipping is usually pretty fast. But I'm like, they're selling 3D. Like when you start getting the 3D printed sales, to me, it's more somebody who's doing it just in his house or maybe small production items. It doesn't seem to me that you're a company like our company's going to start 3D printing action figures. I
Yeah.
hope I mean, for some things, yes, but I think for like large amounts, I don't know. I don't know if it's there yet. I don't know. I'm not a 3D printer, but some
Mm-hmm.
guys have done some amazing stuff, some really amazing stuff. But still, they're I guess it depends who's doing it, if they know what they're doing or not. Plus the different kinds of plastics you can use. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that box that you got today,
yes.
if it wasn't Big Jim stuff in there, what was it?
Oh, so I got that box where the side was split and the stuff was coming out. It was a mishmash of various stuff. It's all in a plastic bag now. A lot of it, what I was looking for were the old 70s G.I. Joe knockoff LJN Mr. Action, had a vehicle, but so this tower, this G.I. Joe tower here,
Mhm.
LJN made their cheap version for Mr. Action, which your grandmother probably bought. Oh, it's only $5 versus 20. Let's get this. It's the same thing, right? But it had little pieces in there. Some of the like the zip line thing that you could never find. It's some of the little parts. But the rest was honestly like there was literally broken pieces of I don't know what it is, a popsicle stick in there. Like I think they just took everything they found in the junk drawer and dumped it into this box. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, well, I just need those pieces, and the price was okay. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a lot of crap in there. There was some Mr. Action. There was some of the Empire Toys pieces from some of the Jeeps were in there. Um, there was some clothing which I believe is knockoff Mr. Action clothing. I didn't see any real Big Jim or any real G.I. Joe, nothing of value. And then a bunch of crap that I don't even know what it is. Like it's just a piece of plastic that looks like it broke off something. Maybe it probably came off like somebody's, bumper or something on their car. I have no idea. Just junk. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So I could take it to the identification group in Facebook and have them tell you, well, that's junk. That's garbage. Junk. That's junk. Well, that's something, but the rest is junk. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it was just horrible. The BJ obviously didn't put there. The question mark was they wanted to know if they thought it might be Big Jim. No, it was definitely not Big Jim. It wasn't even close to Big
I was
Jim.
wondering. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But hopefully,
Yeah, well, after what I sent you there, I'm like, that was kind of all right. First,
hopefully
I'm
you
like,
can
what?
hopefully you can use a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yes, the pieces that
But
I
that's what
needed.
happens. That's how you end up with boxes full of just random little
Yeah,
pieces and you don't know what the heck anything is.
I have tons of these clear. I guess they sell them for college kids from Target. They're like clear drawers and these cubes, and they're just full of stuff, you know. And you're right, but I do have a lot of crap that I don't know what to do with. So if anybody's looking for a box of crap, I can put a random box of crap together and just show it to you. And you might get some broken stuff. You might get something good. Who knows?
Yeah, I know. You could end up like the bum from the UHF movie. I don't know if you remember that. It's with Weird Al Yankovic's film,
Yes.
and the guy gives him a dime. Gee, a dime. Thanks, mister. And then it turns out it was some like double pressed dime from like 1944 or whatever. I sold that dime for $10,000,
Oh
and I
my
bought
gosh.
stocks.
So my office is next to this like deli, right?
Mhm.
And the town of my office, it's a square mile. So there's no cops. It's literally Mayberry. So everybody knows each other. And this guy came in and he was talking to the girl behind the counter, and he must have got some quarter from her, right? And he thought it was something rare because it had this whatever. But when he was there yesterday, I was talking to him, he goes, yeah, it wasn't rare. It looks like they just dipped it. Like they dipped it in some kind of, or they used a paint, like a chrome paint pen or something to make it look like it was valuable. Turns out it was a slug. So, you know, there you go. But I'm like, it's just a quarter. He's like, well, it could be valuable. I'm like, no, dude, that ain't valuable. Like, it's just a
No,
slug.
Lord.
Yeah, just kind of grew up like that.
So I know you were curious. I know some people wanted to see some previews
Yeah.
Yes.
because I do have the haul video be going up tomorrow. I would have had it up today, but you two choked on it. But you know how sometimes
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
we're still checking. There's nothing to check. Just put the damn video up.
Oh, yeah.
But I got some stuff that you never ever see. She found some great stuff too, actually,
Yeah.
because she collects a lot of stuff too. But I'll show a couple of things here. We'll see if anybody knows what this is. Lou will actually get a big kick out of this piece.
Did you get anything from companies like old that don't exist anymore? Did you find
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that?
Everything is old and don't exist anymore.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, like a company that's out of business, like Knickerbocker.
Yeah.
See see if you can tell me what this is, Lou.
Flintstone stickers.
It's a store display rack.
Oh my
from
God,
the,
that's
from the
crazy.
70s of puffy stickers of the Flintstones.
Holy crap.
They're all in there. One fell down. See, there's a thread
Oh,
upside
open it up and fix it.
down.
Oh.
It's still
David's gonna try to like massage it up one day. Wow,
We
that's
did that
amazing.
earlier and it still fell down.
it's still
Oh my
sealed.
God, that's amazing.
See, 10 cents a piece. Pick one.
10 cents. Oh my God,
Yeah.
when is this? This from what, the 70s?
Yeah,
Early
early 70s. It's a store
60s?
display.
10 cents. I mean, I don't think
Although
anybody
they're
has
not
that.
all the Flintstones, as you can see, because there's Top Cat,
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yogi Bear. There's
Yogi
a couple
Bear,
of
Top Cat. Wait,
couple
is that
of
grown up Bam Bam? Is that grown up Bam Bam? And
yeah.
little
There's both versions of Bam
both
Bam.
versions, a little one. Wow. Oh, you got Huckleberry Hound.
Yeah,
And this was somebody that just had this on a table at that place you went today. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
No,
It's
you'll
like
never
there's
find
people
another
that
one of
go there.
those.
They have stuff you never seen because they're not really vendors. Because if a
Mhm.
vendor had bought this would never make it to a show.
Yeah, I
They
was
No.
throw
gonna
this
say.
on eBay for God knows what.
You'll never find anything like that again. That's just insane.
Now, see if you know what this is, Lou. See if anybody knows what this is. I'm guessing no.
That is, I know what that is. That is actually, I don't know exactly what that is. Hold on. That's either. Hold on. Doesn't that go to some Kong game? Like a Kong game or a Magilla Gorilla thing or something? What's it go to? It's a
He's
Kong
saying
game, isn't it?
right.
No.
Yeah.
Kong set with like little plastic figures.
No, well, here's the thing. This is an action figure. He actually has 5 points of articulation.
Okay.
All right. I'll see how old everybody is here. Who remembers in 1967 a Saturday morning cartoon show called King Kong?
Yeah, I didn't ever watch it. I just seen like YouTube for it. That's what this is from, right?
This is the toy that was produced for that show.
Wow.
and it was made by Multiple Toys in
Oh, MPC,
1960.
right?
Multiple
Multiple toy
Toys,
makers.
yeah, in 1967, and
Wow, it's in really good shape, David.
you never find these because it's a
No.
blow mold. It's a rubber head, but the rest of it is blow mold.
Don't
And
even
so
try and pose it. Just
these things get they just don't last. You don't find them.
Mm.
I've never ever seen one of these
that's
at a convention.
unbelievable. Yeah,
Never
because they
seen.
say it looks like the King Kong not the cartoon. I was gonna say like the child's version of King Kong, not a scary version.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Saturday morning said Herculoids. Nope, not quite Herculoids. But you see, like his wrist is
Oh my
articulated.
God, David! Don't turn it. You're making me nervous. I'm having
Oh no!
Oh God! If it breaks, LPH, you heard me say don't move it.
I
I
heard
said
you.
don't move it.
If it
He's not gonna listen. It's gonna fall apart.
because I didn't touch it.
Oh,
If it breaks, that's on him.
oh.
Oh no, Lou. Let's
He can-
see. The pièce de résistance.
Uh-oh. What is this? Redbeard from Durham Toys? What is this? Beverly Hillbillies. Oh
Uh-oh,
my
we
God,
got
it's
it.
huge. It's
It
Beverly
is the
Hillbillies, right?
19,
Yeah.
19. Hold that, please,
Oh,
because I
God.
got to get the.
Now I got the
Who
whole
made
list.
that?
Because ideal. See,
That's humongous.
they're all. You got everybody there. Well, she's
It
supposed
goes
to.
up there.
She's supposed to sit up here. There's
Oh my
Jed.
God, LPH, balance.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not doing right.
Are the no, I'm just kidding. Are the figures like that China kind of plastic? Like if they drop, they'll
They're-
shatter?
Yes.
Oh, God,
please.
don't drop it.
You sure you don't want to put that on the table?
I
She's,
know.
No offense, LPH, but he's making me nervous, man. You're
I
taking
don't
some.
touch any toys in here. I
That is a
truly
major
don't.
risk right there.
I don't touch anything.
And the
This
hound-
is my first time.
and the hound dog.
Dude,
19.
I swear to God, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, no, I've seen a little car, like a kind of a die cast.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
You've seen the corgi. This
Yeah,
is
the corgi.
This is the 1963
Oh God,
Ideal Toys. More, and it's all blow mold and it's all that plastic. Ideal Toys, and it does have. I've got the other parts. There's a windshield. It's not connected right now. It's in a bag of accessories. There's a windshield. There's a ladder. There's a wash tub.
Oh my
There's
God,
all
somebody
kinds of-
get Grandma off the back. She looks like she's gonna fall, and that's gonna be the end of her. Oh,
No, she's
God.
sitting down. See,
You're making me so nervous with
see how the butt is? She's already sitting.
It has
That
like
is-
all kinds
that.
of.
Is oof. So the car is blow mold, David, or
Yes.
is it like? Oh God, she's going.
No.
Go away. Well, imagine they're all sitting there. Oh,
Here's the thing.
oh
Now
my
let me
God.
take.
I'm
let me
like
take-
waiting for it to roll off the table. Hopefully
Oh,
the cat.
Lord.
Let me.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Dude,
There's
you're making me
more-
so
there's-
nervous right
There's a
now.
lot more to it.
Oh my
There's all
God.
kinds of accessories. There's like a shotgun and a wash tub and all these things
Really?
that hang on the outside of the packaging, and I have that as well. But here's
Wow.
the clincher. Hold on, this is the.
David, that thing's like almost, what is that? Almost 2 feet long? 20 inches long or something?
Big.
Yeah, it's
Okay, I can
huge.
hold this.
You're
Yeah.
gonna have to zoom in. What is this stuff?
This is,
Okay.
That's the windshield,
Okay.
and then there's barrels. There's all
Okay.
kinds of things that you just
Oh,
hang.
mom
them
pot
all
kettle
over,
crap. Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, does the
You
windshield
hold
have
it
a
off the
clear
edge.
thing, or is it just a frame? Oh,
It's a clear frame
oh my
that
God.
it plugs right in here.
Yeah, I would just not mess with that and just pretend.
Now,
Just pretend it's there.
here's
Oh,
the trick. Okay,
And it was a
it's
trick.
huge.
there is a trick. You look underneath here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at the toilet paper thing.
You
Yeah,
see
what is that?
that cardboard spool,
Yeah.
which never is always missing. Okay,
Oh, you mean a kid didn't put that on there? That comes with it?
no. You see the crank right there?
Yeah.
There's a spring inside that spool because this is motorized.
You're kidding
You
me.
wind it up.
Oh, it's like a wind up. Oh, no.
Yeah, you wind it up, and then it'll drive.
And I know you're not going to test it because if you break the spring because it hasn't been moved in all those years, you're going to be
It
pissed.
still works.
Oh my
Oh, you
God, he
tested
tried
it?
it. Did he
It's
test
still-
it? Oh my God.
I
It
don't
still
know.
works. The guy I got it from, because
God, David,
Thank
you're
you,
nuts. I
Carlos.
would have never wound that thing.
But it's
Never. I would have just left it and said it probably works. David, that thing could have snapped.
it's
That's
still,
old plastic. You're talking, that's almost 60 years old, right?
yeah, it
Oh my
still
God.
works. It does. It's over 60 years old.
You're
And
crazy.
you know,
I wouldn't have touched nothing.
I wouldn't
would
have touched
just
it
left
either.
there.
they spared, yeah, as I like to say, they spared no expense in likeness and quality
Oh,
and
yeah.
construction.
Oh, yeah.
But they it still works. They
I
never
can't believe you still got the cardboard roll on it. Like, how does that
they
not? So somebody must have kept that in a climate controlled area because that's just a toilet paper roll.
You're Ellie Mae.
Oh, yeah.
look at Ellie.
Oh, is that
Those,
Ellie Mae? I thought that was Brian Sanchez. That's fantastic.
yeah.
I gotta tell him, make sure he watches the video. We'll see if he gets me later.
Oh no, I've got Brian right here. Hold on.
Making you famous, Sanchez. Oh, that's definitely Sanchez. That's actually they're good. Like the
No, that's not
plastic
bad.
is good.
That's
Yeah.
David from Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, oh no. These never work. They're always incomplete, and there are a couple of pieces missing. Like there's supposed to be a little axe, and there's supposed to be a little saw. I don't have them, but they're
David,
always,
I'm going to tell you that you're probably the only person I've ever met or known that's ever seen or found something like that. I've never. I mean, I've been collecting since '97, and I did take a big hiatus, if you will. But I Google crap all the time, and I love to go on those rabbit holes looking for junk. Because sometimes I sit here and go, "Well, I think I got almost everything I want. What else? What else is out there, right?" And then you start finding these rabbit holes of crap, and that's I mean. Yeah, it's like that stuff. That's crazy.
and
My God. That is a really cool piece. I hope you have a spot for it.
this,
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he
then
doesn't.
and
Usually
then
the cat
there's
doesn't knock it over.
Oh, he about to show you something else
And
that's
then
like
there's-
really old, really,
then
really,
there's
really
this.
old.
this is almost an antique.
Was it 50s?
Uh,
40s?
Earlier
going.
than that.
Go back,
30s?
go back to World War II.
So is it wooden?
No.
Wow. Is it tin or
Yeah.
metal?
No, it's pressed steel. This
Oh,
thing is
steel.
about
Steel. Okay.
this is about 12 pounds.
You're
This-
kidding me.
This is
Oh, David, I know you were that strong. You could hold that with one hand. That's very
Yeah.
good.
this is the Structo
Wait,
lever
there's a switch
action
on it. There's a switch on it.
lever action clockwork tank.
So you
Show them
wind it or you
Lever, right? Listen.
You gotta
oh my
crank
God,
it.
he's gonna play with it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. David, what is oh my God.
Like that, and then
I have gone publicly to say you shouldn't do that, but okay.
You've been doing it all day.
Oh yes. Oh jeez. Oh my God, please don't.
Yeah,
David,
do
those
it again.
strings and stuff are so old. Oh my God. That is ridiculous. Did you ever see that before you found that today?
I've seen it before.
Who made that?
It's extremely rare. It
Oh
was
my
made.
God. I've never
It
seen
was
anything like
made.
it.
It was made in 1935 by Structo.
And this moves.
Yeah, that
I
turret,
am
the
too
turret,
touch
the
it
turret
too.
does. The
It's
turret,
just like I'll put a fingerprint on it. That's oh my, and David's like, here, let's go take it outside and chase the cats.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's actually in really good shape.
yeah. Usually, when you find these,
Are they all
they
rusted and crap?
they look like someone dug them out of the ground.
Yeah, I would
They're
imagine.
just wrecked and dented, and they do not work. And it's very difficult to repair. It's
Wow.
actually very expensive to repair. This one
Yeah.
still works.
Mm.
This was again 1935. This is 90 years old.
David, you need to get a some kind of plexiglass case or something for that thing with some air conditioning and
Hmm.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is
that is I
amazing.
can't believe yeah, you're right. If there was a vendor, that would never make it to a table. That would be
No,
off.
this would never make it to a table. They found this at the show for what I found it for, and then they would be like, "No, we need to put this on. We need to send this to Heritage or something." You know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's, I'm pretty sure the paint's been touched up, but when this does turn up, it goes for quite a bit, and usually the lever action was only done once, and then they changed the lever to a different type of wind up mechanism.
Oh, so
So
there's another variety of that thing.
so
Okay.
the lever action is the rare one.
You know, coming from you, David, I'm not surprised. If it was over here, it'd be like, here's a 3D printed one I found that looks like the old one.
Yeah.
It's not
If anyone
you
even
found
knows
the
what this
rarest
is,
stuff. It's unbelievable.
if anyone even knows what this is, and I was just like, oh man,
I've never seen that. And I'm going to say this. So my mother's an antiquer. She doesn't buy a lot of expensive antiques, but she goes to every damn antique garage sale you can find across the nation. I've never seen anything like that ever. And she
Mm.
finds stuff and sends me things, but nothing like that. You know.
they're usually rusted out and smashed
Yeah.
and non-working, and people will pay quite a bit even for that.
How much do you think that went for in 1935?
$5.
I don't know.
$5. That was like a year's worth of food back then, LPA.
Okay,
And that
probably
was-
not that much. Then.
It
And
was
when
like
that was
10 cents a month you could live off of back then, I think.
and then that was 1935, just before the war.
Yeah.
And they would have stopped making things like that.
Yeah, because they needed the metal
needed
for
the
all
steel.
the. Yeah.
That was when comic books went to one staple.
Yeah, that's right, because they needed the metal.
They
I
needed
think
the metal.
that's crazy. Oh my god,
That
that must
you
have only
can
been for
find.
like rich kids.
And
I
that's
can
why
see
you
rich
can't.
kids doing that.
Part of the reason why you can't find that stuff. A lot of that stuff ended up getting scrapped for the war effort.
Yep.
So
Send in all your metal, your pots and pans, so we can make real tanks out of them. That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
But K Moon is saying something we say all the time, and he's
Mhm.
talking about these toys 60 years and it still works. Nowadays, some toys are broken in the box
before you even buy it.
Mego.
And then they threw NECA under the bus. But yeah, all of them. I mean, and
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark. I've heard that about NECA, about anything made by Hasbro. Super 7 now is having a lot of QC issues. I mean, it's just like, I shouldn't be spending the equivalent of, because if you take an action figure like the G.I. Joe carded action figures, the raw era, back in the day when they were $3 a piece, by modern standards would be about $14, $15. But you're going to charge me $100 for a figure that's equivalent, and it's going to break in my hands when I open it.
Yeah,
something is wrong.
Yeah, David, you did that Mondo He-Man or something. You took it out of the box and it like snapped right away or something.
It broke.
Yeah, and did they ever fix that for you or replace it, or?
I took the refund. They offered to send me a new torso so that I could kit bash it and fix it. And when it was available, I would have had to wait 8 weeks, I think. And I was like, just give me my damn refund.
Yeah.
Like Clarence in RoboCop when he spits on the paperwork. Just give me my mother effing phone call.
Just give me the thing. That's that's I don't know. I think it is amazing. My my mother sent me she sent me this. I was showed up I think I did a video on it, like a radio. It looks like a little tiny desk. It's about the size for like a 12-inch GI Joe scale, but it's not a toy. It's when you flip open the top, it looks like an old like cabinet, and you open the top, and it's a little radio inside. I think it's AM. She sent it to me, and it's on a 9-volt battery, but it's old. It's got to be at least 60s. And it still works. It still works. I'm like, with all the electronics in there, still work after all those topper tanks. Some of their 70s, some of their 60s. Man, all you got to do is just get the little bit of the oxidation off the motor, and those motors keep going. I mean, they built stuff to last back then, and that's it's let it break so they buy a new one. Let it break so they go get another one. Let's keep reusing the same.
Or it's a collectible, so you should
don't touch
play with it. Yes.
Don't take it out of the package. Hey, don't bend it at the knee or the elbow. You don't want it to break.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
And I see that who is that? Lee? Lee says that doesn't look like King Kong. Well, it does look exactly like the Saturday morning animated King Kong from 1967. So they were spot on actually with the design, but it's because it's supposed to look like the show. Yeah. But yeah, you never see this, and that's what I mean. And there was other stuff you never see. but I can't get everything. But there's other things that, and you see the walkthrough. You saw the walkthrough. There's some
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
He had
That
some.
was awesome.
That guy that I got the Beverly Hillbillies from also had some ideal Captain Action stuff.
Original stuff.
Yeah, he had a complete Superman and a complete Batman
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
on the figure, but I just couldn't do it because I'd already done too much.
What were those things in the box, David, that you first saw like pretty early on, and they looked like, I don't know if they were like robot Transformers airplanes or something. And the guy's like, "Oh, these two are like the expensive ones or something." They were kind of,
Oh,
they
those,
looked like books.
they were like
Were they models or were they toys?
the model kits.
The model kits. Okay.
You put them to build your action figure kind of thing, but they're they're the older ones. They were pretty rare.
Okay.
And Archeo Collect is here. He says, "Awesome, yes, indeed.
Yes, that car is cool.
It is.
Very
The
cool.
car, I don't know where I'm going to just display it because it's massive. But,
Yeah, well,
you know,
Sounds like you have to put a hanging shelf from the ceiling with glass around it so it doesn't roll off if you have an earthquake and it wherever you put that, you better put a bumper in the front and the back and the side so it doesn't. I mean, I don't know what you call that plastic. It's like that. I call it Chinette plastic. It's like you drop it and it
well,
shatters.
this is
he's
all
still
of
picking
this.
it up.
All of this is blow mold.
I know he keeps playing with it. LPH. He's making it more.
Yeah, but all of this is blow mold, like AJ Renzi stuff.
Okay.
But the figures are that like.
Oh, he's loose too. Oh,
The
geez.
the figures are like that China type of plastic.
God, he's making me so nervous. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably good to put in a low spot, David, where it can't fall from anywhere.
On
But
the
yeah,
floor.
So this is actually kind of sturdy. It's the figures you got to watch out for, and they're often shattered or broken.
And I'm sure you can't find those figures.
Yeah,
No.
if you drop one on the floor, it'll be like you dropped your China cup.
I mean, you don't even see that car floating around, let alone the figures that are loose that are going to break or get lost. I mean,
Yeah.
and the little pieces, windshields, everything's got a windshield from the past. I mean, gone, broken, missing steering wheels. That's what I said. Like, even with that van I got, had the steering wheel in it. I'm like, oh man, this guy, yeah.
But yeah, even like the hound dog is always the one that you never find. But you can sometimes the other figures turn up, and unfortunately, and it's a practice I don't condone.
Mm-hmm.
When you do find it, it's because someone found one that was near complete and pieced the whole thing out on eBay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you'll see like 50 auctions for it.
I hate that.
It's like the dog, the ladder, the frying pan.
I hate that.
And, yeah, because that's how you find this stuff. I know I don't like tearing things apart and with pieces.
There's a guy, I think he's on eBay. I forget what his name is. It was something like take apart and sell, kind of something related to that. But he would take like an LJN SWAT figure and he would pop the feet off, pop the hands off, and he would sell he popped the head off. And I'm like, dude, why don't you just sell the, he's like, oh, I make more money.
That's true.
Okay, but then he's probably got a bucket full of parts that maybe, I don't know, Frankenstein's a figure back there. I hate that. I'm like, oh, one left foot. I'm like, okay, there's somebody who probably needs a left foot. I'd rather just go find a figure or a leg, to be honest with you. Like, you're pulling them apart. I'm like, especially if the pieces are like, oh, these are like minty. I'm like, not once you rip it apart. They're not minty anymore. You know?
We ran into a guy at a Goodwill like
God.
that. Yeah, he made me mad.
I walked away because I just got sick. I did.
She found a tote full of a raw G.I. Joe parts at the Goodwill, and it was the tote that was priced. It was like $4 or something crazy, and it got hodgepodge of God knows what in there, but it was all genuine 80s era parts. It was a big tote, and she was like, wow, you know. And this guy is watching. He was like, oh man, I missed that. And he was like, you know, because I hunt in these places all the time. You do that? And I was like, yeah, I look for all kinds of stuff like that, or we both do. He says, yeah. He says, I found this a USS Flag not too long ago, and excuse me. And he was like, yeah, and I tore that whole thing down. And
That's 6 foot aircraft carrier.
Aircraft carrier, and I sold every piece on eBay one at a time, and I probably got like 3 times the value out of it. And I'm like, yeah, you're talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah, we don't care about you.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that you took a near complete USS Flag and broke it down into 100 components and
Oh, yeah.
sold every piece one at a time. I just want to actually, I want to take my belt off and choke you with it. I just, yeah, I hate that. I absolutely, and I
Yeah,
get it.
that
If
makes
you don't
me
care
mad.
about, oh, there's Hello Treehouse.
And
What's up,
Toy
John?
Chic is
Toy
here.
Chic has
Mark
joined us.
from
Money
Toy
Osmond.
Chic.
If
That's
I had, because to me, that's just I get it. If you don't collect anything and you don't care, it's just money to you.
it's
Yeah,
money.
But to the people you're selling it to, it means more.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, it's a it is one of those things. Like, they have the right to do what they want, but if they don't get the collecting thing, you're right. Let me
Yeah.
go make a bunch of money. Okay, I get that, but like you, I get ticked off. Like, I did go to a meet years ago, and the guy had a bunch of old parts. Actually, LPH, he had a bunch of the Goliath figures from Rainfall
Mhm.
parts. I mean, just a bunch. And he said, "Yeah," he goes, "I used them to mold some other." He made figures, and the guy's pretty well known, but he made figures. He's like, "These are just some extra parts. I was gonna throw them away." I said, "Whatever." I said, "How much you want for them?" He's like, "For all that?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, $10. I'm like, $10? He's like, yeah. I said, okay. And I took it home, and I think I built probably three and a half, Goliaths out of it. Now, he didn't have any clothes or anything, but I got the figures, and I'm not selling or anything. I just got a bunch of naked Goliaths hanging around. For those of you who don't know what they are, you don't worry. But that was okay with that. But then there are places, yeah, and I'll see like the figure, and it's in pieces, and I'm like, that's the whole figure, and you pulled it apart. You took the clothes. Why don't you just leave it? Oh, I can get more money that way. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll get. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it's missing one elbow and one hand. Now I don't want it. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, you do see that on eBay, and it's very disheartening. Like, they just are tearing
Yeah.
your heart out.
yeah. Because they 9 times out of 10, you find it in Goodwill together. Even
I don't
though it
find
might
anything in Goodwill except for polka records. That's all I ever find at Goodwill is polka
we
records.
There
find
you
a
go.
lot of poker records.
Oh,
Yeah.
polka was big back in the day.
That you find stuff and it might not be complete, but it's kinda,
Yeah,
and they still pull it apart. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, at least sell it the way it is
yeah, I
Close
agree.
enough.
and let somebody
Yeah.
else finish it up, But
Yeah,
no, we're gonna rip it to shreds and
yeah.
sell it bit by bit.
I wish I found stuff. The coolest thing I ever found at Goodwill was a glass record from like 1944, 43, I think it was. That's about
Mhm.
the coolest thing I ever found. The rest is polka records and crap. I think my dining room table I got there
It's
when I got rid of it.
rare anymore. It's, used to be, because I used to have a lot of luck in the 90s.
Yeah, not
But
anymore.
now that they figured out that there's collectibles coming through there,
Yeah,
they get their experts in the
yeah.
back
Yeah,
room that take it and they put it aside and it gets shipped to their headquarters and they put it on their Goodwill.com auction. Um, it's just not the same anymore. You
it's
rarely ever find anything in the modern era that you're like, oh my god, I don't believe I found this here, and it's not insanely expensive. And I think I told the story actually on the
Oh.
last week's live that we
Hmm.
did, that I saw a Speak and Spell at a Goodwill recently, and it was like $50. It was like
what?
$49.95, right?
Oh my god!
And I was looking at it, and I said, "You do realize this is the repro one that they sell at Target for like $12? They because they
Yeah,
remodeled
yeah,
it."
yeah.
I was
What
like,
they say? They
a
kick you out of the store.
this is
No.
not a 70.
David's been banned for life.
Yeah, this is not a 70 Speak and Spell. I'm like, well, I don't know,
Yeah.
because they don't know.
And the
Um,
thing with David, he tries to explain things to these people, and it's like, why bother? They could care less.
It's
They don't know and they
or
don't
they
care. You're
or they
wasting
don't
your
believe
time.
me, or they don't
Yeah.
believe it, and it's like, do you know what this is, right? And it's like,
You know what was funny at Goodwill? It was a record player there. It didn't have a needle on it. Did not have a needle.
oh
And the
yeah,
guy said,
oh yeah,
"Oh yeah, that record player works. We tested it in the back before we brought it out.
on what?
It didn't have a
like,
needle.
just all-
You tested."
He plugged it in and the turntable moved.
oh, because it's spun, so they
Sure,
figured that's
sure,
okay.
that's what it is. But yeah, it's like, oh, you played a record on that? Sure, you did. Yeah, because you don't know. You don't know,
That's
and it's the type that needs an amplifier and speakers, so you
Yeah.
won't heard nothing
No.
anyway.
so they just make
But
sure the
anyway,
motor works.
Saturday morning says he went to a flea market and a guy was selling homemade art, and he had art made from torn up classic lunchboxes like DC Comics, Gremlins, He-Man, where he
Oh.
he tore holes
Oh my god.
in them. Oh,
Oh yeah.
it's
Well,
like,
there
oh
there
my,
went his fortune. He's trying to be a fortune as an artist, and that went away. Oh my god.
Nobody
oh,
makes any money selling art at a flea market. You can start
No,
right there.
no, that's true.
These are LPHs. She picked these up today. I
oh,
wanted
I
to show
love
these.
these.
These are fantastic.
Yeah,
These are fantastic. These belong to LPH.
yeah.
What do
And
you
she
got?
Oh,
expand your thing.
Oh, look at you with the globe, Elvis.
Look at the date.
What?
this is like 1978.
Oh my god. Wait, did you seal it or did it come sealed?
No, it came sealed
Oh,
like
no
that.
kidding.
He had them in the plastic.
Yeah, because I like tabloid
Yeah.
magazines and I
Yeah.
love Elvis. And this guy that was selling this, he had like a box full of tabloid magazines of Elvis and Linda Carter.
Wow. So is the paper like when you look at them, it looks like the paper's good and everything. It doesn't
Yeah,
like yellow,
Yeah,
it's
right?
like newspaper, but
yes, a newspaper.
it's really good. It's
Yeah,
really good condition. These are
That's
just
really
fun to read. They're crazy. There's your free poster.
yeah.
Oh, that's Brian Sanchez on his motorcycle, isn't it?
Is it?
That's crazy.
See, there's your first Manson interview.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's
What's the
good.
date on that one? What's the date on that one?
Um,
March 18th, 1980.
that's 1980.
Wow.
And that's 78,
This
right?
is August 8th, 1978.
Wow, these are
35 cents.
almost, yeah, these are 45 to 50 years old.
Yeah.
35 cents? Oh my God.
35 cents. You know, these would be sitting at the supermarket.
At
Yeah.
the checkout
Yeah.
stand.
But she found these today, and she has a few already.
Oh my
But
God. There it goes. See, imagine if he did that with the Beverly Hillbillies car. What he
Oh,
just did. Oh
God.
my God.
I
Dude.
probably would have screamed.
What
if
I
did,
he
know.
dropped
did he
I
rub
would-
his hands in butter first? What happened?
Poor Lou was having a heart attack.
that.
I
know.
was, David. I was waiting for that thing to fall off live because I watched the video the other day that somebody put up. I don't want to go like advertising for him, but he bought a 4-pack of action figures that were hard to find apparently. And as he's doing the video and showing how great they are, Spider-Man's leg broke, and he's like, "Oh man, he goes, he just got these things. The leg just broke."
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
yep, that's what happens. Don't bend them. Just leave them in the package. 'Cause they're
Oh my
terrible.
God.
Wow.
So I'll say this: when I was a kid, now this is going back in the 70s. I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. So that'd be
Okay.
a 74, 75. My mom used to go to the Goodwill in Philly all the time because we'd go see my grandmother, go there. And I walk in and they had like a box of crappy toys. So I didn't know what it was at the time, but it was like this spaceship with kind of this clear top and it had a robot in it. It was 25 cents. My mother told me no. It's one of those Zeroids with the Space Hawk.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
25 cents. My mom said no. I mean, it was probably $10 back then. She's like, you don't need that. It's broken. I'm like, if I only knew then, Mom, let me transport you into the future.
Yeah.
What it's worth today. Yeah, but I don't find anything. Flea markets here are bad. Actually, there is one guy. We have a flea market 5 minutes away. He's a collector. So he has this kind of big space. Most of his stuff is 90s, but you'll have the occasional vintage thing in there, which is cool. I bought like a crappy Mego Superman for like $10, which you're never gonna find, kind of thing, and some GI Joe stuff, but not much. Flea markets, everything's picked clean here by the vendors. They get
Yeah.
those garage sales early, they pick them clean, and then they're up on eBay. And then even people sell them like, "Oh, it's a garage sale. Oh, great. How much you want for that? Like $1 or something?" Oh no, that's like $40. What do you mean $40? Isn't this a garage sale? Yeah, but I can put it on eBay. Well, okay, then you put it on eBay.
Put it on eBay
Yeah,
then.
and see what
You have to
happens.
deal with the fees. Yeah, that's fine. I don't want it that bad.
I did that to a vendor at a comic show. Because you remember.
I can see
He
David
said-
doing this all day long. This is nothing new.
Yeah, I did that to a vendor at a comic show because I was asking him about there was a particular there was a first, I think it was the first appearance of oh God, what is the name of that character? Black Orchid.
Yeah.
DC Comics. Okay, it's a Bronze Age book. Bronze Age book, and he had a price on it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm not like CGC, but I can do basic grading
Sure.
because I do clean and press comics.
Which,
And
by the way, that last one you showed was fantastic. That you showed. That was you did. I either saw a video or something that you did for someone, or you
Oh
showed
yeah, he
before and
did
after. I was like, wow.
somebody.
yeah, because I'll most of the people that send me books are actually vendors
No
that
kidding.
so that I can knock up the condition of the book so that they can get a higher price for it.
Wow.
Honestly, most of it, yeah, I get some collectors send me stuff, but mostly it's vendors.
Wow.
But and that was the Wolverines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did that whole set. I did the whole set for a vendor of the Frank Miller Wolverines. But I pulled it out and I'm looking at it and I was like, could you do this for it? Whatever, about $25.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can bump this up. I can clean and
Yeah.
press this. It'll look better. And he was like, well, that book usually goes for XXX. And I was like, yeah, but that depends on condition. What grade is it? And then, and he's standing
It's
there.
a 9.99.
He's standing there looking at me and he goes, okay, $25. Because, and I found,
David just blew his whole. He just
Because-
sucked the wind out of the guy's sails. He thought he was going to go home a millionaire. David's like, "You get 25." That's it.
because a lot of these, surprisingly, a lot of these vendors, they don't understand anything about condition. And it's like
Yeah.
you're selling comics and you don't know anything about comic condition. You got to at
Yeah.
least some basics. At least some basics.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to give a fair price. And I wasn't cheating the guy. I was just, like this, maybe 25. And I'll work on it.
I only buy reader grade because I don't know anything about comics. I got to go to other people and say, like, I'll go and, like, I'm picking through the dollar bin, the 50-cent bin, and as long as the artwork's
Good stuff
cool,
in there sometimes.
right? If it's artwork, I buy it. I don't have anything complete or anything, and then I'll put them in the. I don't know why I put them in the comic sleeve because half of them aren't worth it. But I like to look at them, and go through them. But I do have some friends that collect, and I have the ones that do the. Like try to read the comic without cracking the sleeve. They just kind of lift it and because they don't want to fold it kind of thing when they open the cover. And I'm like, just why don't you just get two? Just get two. You know what I mean? Get a crappy version and get a good one and put it away.
Yeah.
But it's tough. Comics are, I mean, and in the end, like whether it's comics or toys or everything else, we were talking about this the other day somewhere, is that in the end, no matter what they tell you it's worth, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
That's
Sure.
true.
You can have an action figure that's so rare, and they want tens of thousands of dollars. But I say to people, like, well, who's going to pay that? I mean, like, I don't know. Some people may. I mean, but who's going to pay that? Like, man, that, was it a couple of years ago on eBay? There was a Tomlin mummy. They were trying to sell it for $39,000. Like, if you have $39,000 to buy a mummy, then good for you. Get it. You know what I mean? And the one guy, so eventually, I don't know, I think it went down, but I think the guy, was it that guy or another guy? Somebody had a Tomlin up there. They wanted thousands for it. And I sent the guy an offer. I said, make an offer. So I offered him $5, right? Just to bust his chops because it was like way overpriced. He says, $5. He says, do you know what this is? Like message me. Do you know what this is? How much is worth? I said, well, it was $1.99 back in the day and I'm giving you double. How's that? Like, I was so pissed. He banned me from the auctions.
Oh no.
I don't care. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff's crazy. Like some of the stuff I paid more for, I'm not gonna lie. But if I've got something that's I think the most I ever paid was probably $500. But then it's sitting inside of something where it can't be touched because to me that's like if it falls, gets broken, whatever, I'm gonna be very upset. So if I get a crappy version, it breaks, got a hole in the box, all right, not so bad. But yeah, but and there's some people out there who spend a lot of money to get some really expensive stuff. To me, it's like storing it's kind of tough. I'm always worried about that.
Space is an issue, and
Yeah.
setup is an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just lucky that we had a big bonus room to work with.
Yeah.
After I rebuilt the room, and then we got the slat wall system, and that works great. You
Yeah.
know, so
I really thought when I first started watching you guys' videos back in the day, I thought you guys were a store. Like I'm sitting there literally going, "Wow, these guys have a really nice store," but I never see them offer anything up for sale. I'm like,
we,
like, is it a walk-in? Is it a speakeasy? And I remember, and then I realized like this is your collection. I think the first couple of messages I ever sent to them, like, my God, that's your collection. You look like a store. It's unbelievable the stuff you guys do.
yeah, we
I mean,
still get that. We still get that
Yeah.
from people that are like, "Where are you located?" And it's like,
like
nowhere.
in my house,
Yeah.
in my
Or,
house where you won't find me.
or the guy that said he came to our
That's
store
right.
and he couldn't get a good deal.
Yeah, some guy tried to throw me under
What?
the bus on
Yeah.
one of the comments. He was like, "Yeah, I've been." He was like, "These guys ain't so hot. I've been there, and I couldn't get a good deal on anything." And it's like,
Yeah, and then
you know,
somebody else responded, "That's not a store; it's their private collection." It's like,
That's hilarious.
you
That's
idiot. Yeah, I know.
yeah, it's
Because
like you're gonna lie
because
just because you have nothing to do that you were at our store. We don't even have a store.
yeah,
that's well. You guys actually do dusting and things because I think we've seen videos of you
Yeah.
guys
oh yeah, we have a
dusting your stuff. Mine only gets dusted when I need to move a shelf. So when I actually started moving a couple things around, I got that kind of display cabinet that I got on Marketplace, and the big glass cabinet, which I almost killed myself moving down here. But when I got that, then I'm like, man, this shit is dusty. I'm like, what? Like, it's really dusty. So I started cleaning it. It's amazing when you take an old Aurora model from the 60s that you never clean, then you leave it out for 10 years, and then you actually kind of rinse it off with some water and kind of clean it a little bit. Man, you'd be surprised how those testers' paints will really shine, 60 years later, as opposed to being all dusty and whatnot.
Saturday morning said they first found us through Pixel Dan.
Yeah,
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
yeah. Pixel Dan came last year?
Yeah, and he wanted to film,
Hmm.
and that was fun.
Yeah,
He had a good time.
yeah.
That's cool.
And Custom God says, I thought the first videos of theirs I saw were at a show.
Hmm.
I thought we were at a show. Also, do you have drop? You got a drop ceiling in there, Lou?
Yeah, I do. I do.
You notice our drop ceiling. I don't know if you notice it. The tiles are painted.
Yes.
The reason that we paint the tiles is because it'll prevent the dust from coming out of them. Because they shed.
No shit.
Those tiles shed.
Yeah.
That's why they're always having to clean out the ventilation in office buildings
Mhm.
because
I realize
because of the buildup from it. It lowers the air quality. So we painted them so that they will not shed.
I
Yeah.
had no idea. I've seen plastic ones that are legit plastic.
Yes.
And I remember, so I do IT work, and we had a customer who had their New Jersey Natural Gas, one of the biggest gas companies here. Well, the kitchen was above the computer room, and one day, you know what happened? The pipes broke.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff came down, so they wound up getting this plastic system that literally, if the water got onto it, it ran it like through a series of pipes. They're all connected. And I was like, man, I'd like to get that. I don't have any water. Well, I don't have any water directly upstairs I can think of, but yeah, but I did not realize they shed. I thought about changing them to plastic, but now I see, painting them, that would make sense. And I see
pick out some interesting colors and do because we got like a checkerboard pattern going.
Yeah.
And then get a roller. They will absorb a lot when you roll
Yeah,
the
you
paint
need to
down.
you need to put a lot of paint on it because it's going to absorb. But the more paint you put on, the less it'll shed.
I'll be honest with you. I changed all these tiles when I moved into the house 20 years ago. I'll just buy new ones. That won't take long. Man, I got to be honest with you. That was a lot of work. This isn't even that big. I'm like, why does it take so long to change tiles? Besides the cutting of the ones that don't fit all the way, but taking the other ones out, it was dust. It was nasty in here. I don't want to put anything in here for like a week.
And then so we did that, and then we got the dehumidifiers. And so when we do dust, there's very little anyways.
Yeah.
So it does help a lot.
That's a
lot.
And Mark said the first video he saw is you using Axe body spray to remove marker from card backs.
Does that work?
Yeah.
The Axe body spray.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
it'll
You took
dissolve.
Axe cologne
Yeah,
The body spray, the body spray.
yeah.
and you sprayed a rag or the back of the card.
I sprayed the card, and
It doesn't stain it,
it dissolves that marker.
but it doesn't stain the card because it's kind of wet, isn't it?
Well,
Or no?
it depends because it more so like if some how some cards have a coating.
Yeah. Oh,
You
like it had a glossy
a
coating to
little
it or
bit of
something.
spritz, it'll come right off. You don't want to saturate it,
Yeah.
but even on older cardboard, it'll fade it out.
I bet it smelled great when you were done. Does it smell afterwards? Like, does it stay with the card? So if somebody picks up, like, oh, this is a great Star Wars figure. And the scent of woodland pine. This is fantastic. Like,
Yeah, there you
it
go.
smells like this Ewok is right out of the woods.
Oh man, David has to scale down his collection to fit his 10 by 12 office, and that's already too much for my
Oh
wife.
no, poor
Ooh.
David.
You got a bigger. So David got a nostalgia for the 70s. You got a bigger room than you had before, right? I think he got a bigger room because I think he moved a couple years ago and he went from one space to like a bigger space. And I thought you were gonna. Well, first of all, he's got some crazy stuff that he's got some really really nice stuff. But I
Yeah,
thought
I
you had
want to
more
see
space
more
now.
of his custom stuff.
Uh-huh.
I
Yes,
know he got a lot of custom stuff.
and you
And
see
I
the
want to see that.
Japanese robots he gets. Oh my goodness, man! So he knows that I love. In Italian, he's Goldrake. Here he's, I don't know, Grendizer or Goldorak or whatever. In Italy, he's Goldrake. That was the first cartoon I ever saw when we moved there in the 70s. It was in Italian. I didn't even speak Italian. And I just fell in love with that thing. And so I've got a few pieces of that. And he posts stuff, and I love it. I actually wound up finding the video game for PlayStation just about 6 months ago, and it's like you're playing the cartoon. It's unbelievable. It's just like it. But yeah, but he's got tons of robots. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. He's had robots, and I think he gets one, then he sells it and gets a bigger one or something. But he's got stuff that lights up, and I'm like, wow, man. I mean, like, good stuff. Really good stuff.
Oh no.
Wow. The smell does take a few days to leave, I've noticed.
That's what
I mean, you're air freshening the room. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not like we're hitting it with skunk spray, I guess. That's
you don't want odors to stick too long though. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like you don't want any odors on anything if you can help it.
So I have to ask you, so who has more space in there, you or LPH, or is it split evenly?
It's split evenly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you both fill all your space, is what you're
The
saying.
room is 15 by 30.
Yeah, and when we
30,
moved
wow.
in, we measured it
Mhm.
and we marked on the floor. So he has one half and I have one.
They're like the Brady Bunch, where they put
Yeah.
the tape, they painted the line, and you can't cross it. Is that?
No, it's a table.
Yeah.
No.
And the table, it's two tables butted together. So
Yeah.
where the
No
tables
kidding.
come together is the exact middle.
That's too funny. So has anybody tried to encroach on the other ones? Like, do you guys give each other any liberty of, hey, I need 6 more inches of space to get this Funko Pop in here? And David's like, nope, it's not happening. I need to reserve that for my Beverly Hills.
See how you did that? That was very unnecessary right there. How you worded that. That was very unnecessary. But yes, people do encroach.
Not in this room. We have another room out there,
Yeah.
and she's kind of almost taken that room over.
That's not true.
It's true.
We agreed to have a wall, and each one of us has
Yes.
a wall.
Her wall somehow went around the corner and this way, and then back up this side.
And it definitely happened because she's covering her eyes and trying to pretend like she didn't do it.
And I've been reduced to like an area.
So
Yeah, that is true.
So LPH, is not most of your stuff on the wall? It used to be Pops, but it isn't anymore. You have more other stuff now?
It used to be in the hallway.
Oh, no. Okay.
It used to be all Pops in the hallway.
Wow.
And then I was like, man, I got more stuff that I would rather display.
Sure.
So I took all of the Pops down.
Okay.
And I put up, better stuff.
Vintage stuff.
Yeah, vintage
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Better
nice stuff.
things. Yeah. So I like that better. maybe one day the pops will make an appearance. I don't
So
know.
you just store them now? You just box them up and put them? What? Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I like them. I'm never going to get rid of them or anything. I don't buy them as much as I used to,
Hmm.
but I do still buy a few. If something really comes out, like they put out a Rainbow Bright set,
Yes.
so I am going to get that.
I
But
get some of the mini pops because they're easy to display, but it's got to be like Batman. So, I mean, they're like this big. I can put that on the
oh,
corner.
wow.
I don't care because they're like this big. I can put it on the corner. Doesn't take a lot of space. And I got a couple of the regular pops, but they take so much space. I did get the one that looks like the comic of the Ghost Rider. It looks like the comic.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was pretty cool. I was like, all right, that's cool. But man, you can just get sucked like anything else. You can get sucked into that. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's
Yeah,
more
it's
pops or GI Joe stuff in the world, but you just get sucked right into that. And I'm like, man. And then they got the giant pops, and I'm like, what? I'm like, man, we're gonna put all this up. So I'm like, no, I just get the little teeny tiny ones. It fits in the Batmobile, or whatever. That's it. They're tiny. They're perfect. You're gonna take them out of the box. You don't like them? Put them in your pocket and put them away. You know? I think they're itty bitty pops. I think they call
Yeah.
them.
yeah, the
Itty
itty
bitties.
bitties.
Oh God. Yeah.
But they come like a four
A
pack,
5-pack or
right?
something,
Four,
right?
Yeah,
five.
they're usually the ones I have. It's a 4-pack, and it comes with like a little display. I'm not taking them out, but they go display case. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it here. But there's one that looks like the Batmobile,
Oh,
and
okay.
then the itty bitty sits inside the Batmobile. I forget which Batmobile it is. It's not the. It's got Batman's in silver, so I don't know which one he is. But it sits. You can put it inside the Batmobile. I mean, I'm not even taking it out. You take it out, you sneeze. It's so small, you'll lose it.
There's your Batmobile.
That's nice. Is that
Yeah.
a high?
That's
Is
the
it Azure Gateway?
Azrak Hameway, I think, right?
Yeah, that's a nice one, man. That's
Yeah.
a really good sample.
That's the Azrak Hamway.
That's David. That looks like it's brand new. Yeah, that's
You
really
got it
nice.
from that same guy you bought that other stuff from, right?
Yeah, I found this one at a retro toy swap.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a lot of toy stuff going. You guys live there because of the toy stuff? Is that why you guys live down there?
We
Because
just got lucky.
there's nothing in Jersey. Well, South Jersey, I shouldn't say that. South Jersey, south of me, I think people find more stuff. But as soon as you start going a little north of me, it's all like it's like the Soprano people from New Jersey and New Yorkers, and they just clean everything out. But when you kind of go down south, there's parts of New Jersey, very south to the west, that they say y'all, which is pretty funny because most of them kind of talk like me or more like, hey, how you doing? That kind of thing. And then you got these people, hey, y'all. And I'm like, not like really Kentucky, kind of, but a little less.
Huh.
But sometimes you'll find stuff down there, but that's a long ride to go looking around.
No, once we moved here, we didn't think that there was anything either. But then we started looking, and
Yeah.
then we found one thing, and then we got the cards, and then
Okay.
I started going. It's this one website, and I can't think of the name of it right now,
Hmm.
but they tell you all the conventions all
Oh,
across
really?
the United
Okay.
States. Yeah,
Oh,
so I
okay.
look at the ones for our area. And then once you start going, you hear about another one, you hear about another one. You'll see a card. So then we started just collecting up those cards, going to the Facebook sites,
Yeah.
liking them. So once something comes up, so we were actually surprised because we lived here, the first about 3 years, we
Yeah.
didn't know anything about anything. And then we found one, and then that just opened it like, oh,
Yeah.
this stuff has been here the whole time. We just
Yeah.
didn't know it.
Yeah, just got into the network.
Yeah, yeah, it's one big network system. And
They
once you get
used
in there, you get in there.
I
And
was hoping you would do
there's
it
a
again.
huge one in New Jersey, but there's a conspiracy to make sure Lou does not find out what
If it has anything to do with somebody in Canada, I wouldn't be surprised. He
Oh
probably got
no.
locked out. I mean, we got some shows here. Most of the stuff's later, but just coincidentally, I found a couple comic book shops that do toys. One of them actually, it's really funny. So my daughter, she goes to a thing on Saturdays, a program, and you could walk out and walk 60 seconds, and there's a comic book store there. I did a live video there a couple of weeks ago, I think, when I was there, and they've got a lot of stuff. It's just a very small place, but they've got a lot of stuff, but they're priced really expensive.
Ooh.
So I was like, well, let me do some videos. Maybe she'll start cutting me some discounts. But I find some occasional stuff there that they're like, yeah, we'll sell that for cheap because we don't really, don't really want it. And I'm like, all right, I'll take that. Like old board games that have cool like artwork on them or so on. Um, but yeah, I wish they had more. Honestly, I find I do a lot on eBay, and sometimes I try and work out sales because of stuff for them. But I'll be honest with you, I found a bunch of people that sell on Marketplace. There's a guy who collects. I didn't know this. He's down. I don't know, he's 2 minutes from my house. He collects GI Joes, vintage Joes, 64 Joes, but his are all in the box. So he has this
Mm.
tiny little room. It's just these vintage Joes and some really expensive stuff. But he told me he buys like big lots of things. He doesn't get just bunches of toys, and then he sells all the pieces off to fund his GI Joe collection, if you will. And I went over there. He's like, "Oh, come in my house. I'll show you." Because I went to the garage to buy it for us. I live down the street. He's like, "Oh yeah, come on in." And he's constantly got stuff that's coming in. So that's kind of a nice thing to do where I can find somebody close. Because last one I drove an hour, and that was that box Remco set. There's my second McDonald's set that I wanted because the box was so nice, and I had the instruction, all that. And that was worth it. But I got to be honest, I was a little nervous because he told me to meet him somewhere. And I'm like, where the hell am I going? I'm like, we wound up we're in a Wawa parking lot or some crap, which is basically a gas station.
Mhm.
Mm.
Like, all right. And then, I'm like, I don't even know which one. There's so many people there. I don't even know where the guy is. I'm sitting in my truck and finally he opens his trunk and I see the Remco thing. And I'm like, all right, that's me. And most of the people are very nice, but I've sold on there too. And no offense, there's some crackheads going around that you just don't want to get involved with when you're buying and selling stuff. There's some crazy people out there. Crazy people. Ay, ay, ay. But
Well, we are over the 2 hour limit
oh
now.
my God.
And so we're going to go ahead and start signing off.
Yeah.
So special thanks to Lou for spending some time with us here today. Again, you can
You guys are awesome.
my
Thank you.
my Mego like on YouTube and on Facebook, and check them out there. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's an exclusive club. You have to it's a $10 million entry fee and you will
Good
have to
Lord.
provide a resume to get in. Actually, we let
I
you do
see. Okay.
No, you
Thank
guys
you.
do great videos. I love I think last year, David, I said, man, you guys have like 3,500 people. And today you guys have like, I don't know, there's like 87 million that are subscribed to your channel. I said, that's fantastic. You
I
guys
wish.
are great. You guys have a lot. You guys have a lot. It's really, and you've grown so fast. I mean, I was literally watching month to month. I'm like, what are these guys doing? Giving out free $100 bills? Like you just exploded. It's good. It's nice because you guys do a lot of cool stuff that other people don't. And you're very honest about things where some people aren't, trying to get money for their
We
thing.
try. We try. No, yeah, I'm not going to give a good review on something uh, if I don't think it is.
Yeah.
That's probably why I rarely get anything. But I've only had one vendor reach out to me and send me an action figure
Hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
that I did a review on. A guy from a convention
Yeah.
that
He
had,
saw us at a convention and was like, hey, you review one of our figures.
Do people recognize you when you walk around now? Do they
Yeah,
get a lot of
they
people
do.
recognize you?
yeah,
Mhm.
we get
You
recognized.
doing autographs yet, or what? Are you at the autograph stage or no?
Yeah, we have.
Nice.
We've
Oh, we did one time.
well, the comic book, and I had the one guy wanted me to autograph, and it's the weirdest thing. He had a Terminator 2 mug that he
Yeah.
wanted me to sign.
Did he say why?
No,
Or that's all he had in his hand?
I guess that's all he had. But a
You need to
Terminator.
carry around postcards with your picture pre-signed. You just hand them out to people as you go
Yeah,
by. I'm telling you, work great. Like,
I'm
who's
not
this
quite.
guy?
I'm not quite at that level. But thank you to everybody
Yeah.
who
Thank you everybody for
time with
watching.
us today. We appreciate it. And watch out for the haul video tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I have a few commercial blocks, vintage commercial blocks that'll
What
be
time
going.
are they going up? Do you know yet?
The commercial blocks will be going up at 3 p.m.
Okay.
on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
No.
It's Eastern time, correct?
I got 3 different commercial blocks that are going up that are the vintage commercials that'll be pretty cool.
Are they? They're not stamped with somebody's logo on them, are they? Because you might not own them. You know what I mean?
No, there's no logos.
Okay, just making sure.
It's vintage commercials,
No,
non-proprietary.
there's somebody who likes to stamp things that don't belong to them. Anyway, we'll just go past that. We'll talk about that offline.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Just kidding. No, that's cool. I love watching your guys' videos. It's very good stuff. I'm in the car so much for work, and I probably shouldn't say this, but let's just say I'm listening to your videos while I'm driving.
Mhm.
Although usually the phone's up on the dashboard. So
All right.
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
But again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys.
And we will catch you